Hey everyone, we've updated our channel name from Chinese Novel Audio Wave to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Nothing else will be changing. We're still uploading a new video every day, bringing you the best Chinese novel audiobooks. Let's dive into today's story. Chapter 61. How do you know whether Den Den Mushi is happy or not? Captain Buggy, you may have some misunderstandings about Den Den Mushi. These little creatures have a low reproductive capacity and can only reproduce once in their lifetime, and each time can only reproduce 1 to 2 offspring. There are simply not that many samples to study. Ian thinks Buggy is a little too fanciful, and even the scientific corps has a hard time cultivating Den Den Mushi. You can only reproduce once in your lifetime. If after reproduction you use your ability to restore the Den Den Mushi to its state before reproduction, can it continue to reproduce? Buggy asked. Ain was suddenly stunned. She had never thought of such a thing before. This should work, but... Ian stuttered, isn't it a bit too much to keep the Den Den Mushi in that reproduction state? Is Den Den Mushi very intelligent? Buggy asked. There's no such thing as intelligence. It's just the level of an ordinary insect. Ian looked down at the young white Den Den Mushi on the ground. It was a little uncomfortable with its sudden transformation into a larva and was crawling around happily. That's fine, maybe they enjoy it. Buggy said casually. Even if we can make these Den Den Mushi continue to reproduce, there won't be enough of them. Ian remembered that his mission was to observe the situation of Wano Kuni, not to breed and study Den Den Mushi. Don't worry, your strength alone is not enough, so I found someone to cooperate with you. Buggy said. Shinobi should be in the flower capital. It shouldn't be hard to find a ninja as eye-catching as her. Sure enough, after a while Mr. 3 came over with a pink gourd ninja. It was Ainin. I've already told you that I won't work for your Buggy Pirates, why did you bring me here? Ninja kept complaining. You work for us at Wano Kuni, there's really no difference, Buggy said. That's better than working for you directly. The ninja said, I've heard of your reputation. Why, can't you resist making a move on a beautiful ninja like me? I know you men have fantasies about ninjas, maikos, landladies, widows and the like. How can pirates like you stand for a ninja like me? Ninja complained. I'm not a beta, I won't fall for you even if I'm blind. The ninjas I like are Tamanin, etc. Buggy suddenly felt something was wrong. What kind of reputation do I have? Explain it clearly. Suddenly, there were bursts of coughing around, and Mr. 3 said quickly, it's just rumors outside. Captain, what if she refuses to cooperate? Her fruit ability is very important. If you really can't do it, just drag her to a room full of fruits and kill her. Then see if you can condense the devil fruit again. Buggy said. Okay, I'll prepare the fruit right away. Mr. 3 said quickly. Hey, some things can be discussed. Shinobu said quickly, we also saw what you did to Wano Kuni. As long as you don't have any grudges against me, I can still work for you occasionally. Momonosuke died, but Wano Kuni did not become a place where pirates wreaked havoc as Ninja had imagined, but instead became better than before. This made her a little confused, as she had thought that only the Kazuki family could save the country, but they almost became the destroyer of Wano Kuni. After knowing the true history, most people in Wano Kuni no longer miss the Kazuki family. Instead, more people hate them. Where does your inexplicable confidence come from? Buggy sighed, use your ability on this young Den Den Mushi. Do you want to make it mature? Said a ninja. That's right. Use your abilities slowly and see if you can ripen it into estrus. Buggy said. You are making a double entendre, aren't you? Said a ninja as he used his ability. You are teasing me with obscene language. This is a professional term. It's typed without any shielding. I'm not teasing you. Buggy finally couldn't help but get angry. Under the effect of the ability of the A Ninja Re fruit, the young Den Den Mushi slowly grew up and its antennae became straight. Enough, that Den Den Mushi has reached its estrus period. Ian whispered. This is just a male one, right? Are there female Den Den Mushi? Buggy looked at the antennae of the Den Den Mushi thoughtfully. No, Dendenmushi are not divided into male and female, but it takes 2 Dendenmushi to reproduce. As Ain explained, he used the power of his fruit to slowly reverse the age of the other Dendenmushi, returning it to its estrus period. The 2 Dendenmushi looked at each other, sparks of love flew, and they performed their reproduction in front of a room full of strong people. What on earth am I looking at? Hancock never thought that one day he would see 2 Dendenmushi mating. Is this the captain's evil game? Bonnie didn't know what Buggy was doing. But others were serious. Do you know how many Baileys a common Dendenmushi can be sold for? Crocodile said in a deep voice, at least 1 million Baileys. Many small pirate groups cannot popularize Dendenmushi. It is a living thing with a limited lifespan, and few pirates are willing to spend a lot of money to buy one. This is not a game. If we can really make Dendenmushi continue to reproduce, we can get countless Baileys just by selling Dendenmushi. Moria said. Not only that, Hawkeye said in a deep voice, if everyone has a Dendenmushi in the future, the world will become more closely connected, and this may really change the world. Is it that powerful? Hancock looked at the 2 Dendenmushi that were using their tentacles to fence and still couldn't understand. Of course, this thing has unlimited potential to be explored, said Buggy. The Dendenmushi for sale are all those that have already reproduced. Since the retrograde fruit can allow Dendenmushi to reproduce again, Buggy's idea can almost be realized. After a while, the 2 Dendenmushi completed their reproduction and entered the sage mode. New Dendenmushi will be born in about 10 days. Ian observed and said happily. She hadn't thought that her ability could be used in this way. She had only used it in combat before. No, keep using the reversal ability, Buggy said, let them continue to return to their estrus state. Huh, why? Ian asked in surprise. I want to see if your ability can be reused on Dendenmushi. Buggy is worried that Dendenmushi will develop resistance to Ain's abilities. But the result was good. With the help of Ain's reversal ability, the 2 Dendenmushi were awakened from sage mode and sparks flew again. It seems like it can be done without me. A Ren didn't understand why he was called here. Your abilities are equally important. Buggy said, the newborn Dendenmushi need your help to mature. He even felt that the power of the ripe fruit was more powerful than that of the regressed fruit. These 2 abilities are a waste if used in combat, and have heaven-defying effects if used elsewhere. Devil fruit is the most magical thing in the pirates' world. Chapter 62 The Arrival of the Red Hair Pirates. May 20th, cloudy. The surveillance effect is not good today. Crocodile is building a huge structure next to the Flower City again. He has locked up all the people from Neo Marine. I didn't intend to tell you, but now it doesn't matter. Doesn't Buggy trust them? Wano Kuni must have a hidden force. Their observation hockey is too strong and has escaped my surveillance. And the Buggy pirates probably don't even know about the existence of this force. I imitated you and kept a straight face, and the students became more obedient, but Suru laughed at me for looking like a gangster boss. There's another ship at the port. It's the Red Hair Pirates' Red Force. Why would the Red Hair Pirates come to Wano Kuni? Damn Sakazuki, you killed me. If they find me, I'll be dead. Bang! Akainu slapped the desk, and the desk immediately gave off a burnt smell. The fax machine bug on the desk was scared to death. Damn you Borsellino, why did you leave such important news for last? And what the hell is that Suru? You were going to work, not to relax. Why is this guy so careless? The key is that this sloppy guy is the top combat force of the Marine. Apart from him, there are not many people available. The Marines are getting worse with each generation. They are unable to train talents on their own and have to rely on recruiting talents from around the world. The admiral candidates simply don't have the combat power of a Marine admiral, and few of the rookies are of any use. The strength of Smoker, who was once highly regarded, has gradually failed to keep up, and what are the 2 players trained by Garp? Afraid of bloodshed, afraid of death. What's the point of being a Marine if you're afraid of sacrifice? If they weren't so unpromising, why would I secretly train new Marines? But now Ain and Binzi are trapped in Wano Kuni. Did Buggy see something? As for the Red Hair Pirates landing on Wano Kuni, Akainu had no other choice but to be on high alert. The Scientific Marine Corps conducted a test which ended in failure, and it is said that Vegapunk is undergoing a new round of transformation. Borsalino, don't let them find you. But if you want to run, you should be able to escape. Although he complained about Kizaru's laxity, Akainu still hoped that his undercover career would go smoothly. Mr. Bunta, you're amazing. You can do anything. Tsuru took the towel and stood on tiptoe to wipe the non-existent sweat off Kizaru. It's no big deal. I used to do this kind of rough work all the time, said Kizaru, who renovated the entire school. Really? I thought you were some big shot. Tsuru whispered. Really? Haha, why do you say that? Kizaru was so scared that he broke into a cold sweat. Your aura, even though you look a little wretched. Tsuru pursed his lips and smiled, but that aura cannot be concealed. My late husband was also a great Wano-kuni figure, but his aura was not even 1/10 of yours. Tsuru said leisurely, but he considered himself a samurai and never did such rough work. Kizaru didn't expect Tsuru to be so perceptive. Is his life as Wano-kuni about to end? Mr. Bunta, will you destroy Wano-kuni's current peace? Tsuru asked in a low voice. No, was all Kizaru could answer. His purpose in coming was just to observe what the Buggy Pirates were doing, not to sabotage them. I understand. You take a rest first, I'll go prepare the meal. Tsuru turned and left as if nothing had happened. What a failure, being discovered by a woman. But is Tsuru really an ordinary woman? At the same time, in the newly built Den Den Mushi Research and Breeding Center, Buggy also received news of the arrival of the Red Hair Pirates. I have something else to do. You guys just stay here and cultivate the Den Den Mushi. The first phase's goal is 1 million. Buggy said. 1 million, 10,000. Ian was about to cry. Captain Buggy, do you know how huge that is? Also, how about the food for the Den Den Mushi? Isn't he here? Buggy pointed at Bins the genin. His ability is to control plant growth, right? With him, will Den Den Mushi still lack food? Ian suddenly wondered why Buggy knew so much about Neo Marine. Moreover, they came to Wano-kuni with a mission, not to breed Den Den Mushi. We don't want to waste our time here, Captain Buggy. Ian said seriously, we still have things we want to do. This is a great cause that will change the world. Believe me, maybe your name will be recorded in history as Mother of Den Den Mushi Ein. What a ridiculous name. I don't want it. Ian felt ashamed just thinking about it. We still have enemies and can't stay here for long. Ian thought of a reason. White fool Edward Weeble? Buggy asked. Yes, it's him, Ian said hatefully. Isn't that easy? Leave it to us. You just use your expertise here and I will bring you Edward Weeble's head. Buggy said. That guy is as strong as Whitebeard when he was young. Ian was stunned. He's just a brainless guy. Anyway, leave the revenge to me, and you just need to cultivate the Den Den Mushi. I have something else to do, so I'll bring Edward Weeble's head to see you next time. Buggy left in a hurry after saying that, leaving only the people from Neo Marine and Ninja in the entire training center. What should we do? Ian asked Bins. I don't know either. How about trying to work here first? Bins said. Even though they couldn't complete Akainu's order, there wasn't anything they could do about it, right? Gather all officers, we are going to meet the Red Hair Pirates. We cannot let them underestimate us. After leaving the research center, Buggy gave the order. What are the Red Hair Pirates doing here? Crocodile asked. Didn't I tell you that our two pirates groups should form an alliance to fight against the Blackbeard Pirates group together? Buggy asked in surprise. You didn't say it on purpose, you just wanted to see the attitude of us cadres. Crocodile obviously knew the bad taste of his captain. He had also made many preparations for the upcoming war and studied all the officers of the Blackbeard Pirates, but he only now realized that he had helpers. Were you a little nervous recently? Buggy laughed. Why would I make a meaningless sacrifice? Of course I've made all the preparations to fight the Blackbeard Pirates. Buggy whistled, and Gyukimaru, with Shisui on his back, jumped out. Are we going to take action? Crocodile became excited. This is a tradition. How about trying out the Red Hair Pirates, who are known as the Iron Wall Pirates? I'll go call for help. Crocodile turned into a sand roll and flew away. On the other side, Jin and Jack were staying with the Red Hair Pirates. Boss Jin, are they really our allies? Asked Jack. Shut up, I just went out for a while and you almost got into a fight with the Red Hair Pirates. Don't you know the relationship between Captain Buggy and Shanks? Jin cursed. We tried to persuade him, but it didn't work. Runty said, Jack has set his eyes on the Red Hair Pirates ship. Don't you ever look at who your opponent is. Jin was speechless. No wonder Captain Buggy didn't want him to go out to sea. We won't know how powerful he is until we fight him. If we only look at fame, then whoever is more famous will be the king of pirates. Jack was not convinced. I heard that Shanks' arm was bitten off by the king of the sea. Maybe he's a straw bag. Jack yelled. Shut up. Jin snapped, then quickly explained, sorry, he's not in the right place. Ha 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 ha, he does have a point. Shanks didn't take it seriously and laughed instead, maybe I really am an idiot. But, it seems my old friend wants to test the ability of a fool like me. Shanks has already spotted Buggy who is carrying Chu Shui to greet him, and the cadres behind him. Want to exercise before meeting friends? Beckman put out the cigarette in his hand. Who is my opponent? You make your own choice. Shanks has already drawn his sword, Griffin. The two conquerors hockey collided. God, get out of the way. X2. Chapter 63 Welcome Ceremony, Struggle among the Royal Groups. Griffin and the Black Knife Chu Shui collided with each other, causing an earth-shattering explosion. I told you they were enemies. Jack transformed directly into an ancient mammoth and rushed towards Lackey Lu. Hey, I'm the chef. Lackey Lu dodged Jack's attack at a speed that didn't match his size. Where's your group's chef? We, the Buggy Pirates, don't have a chef. Jack stopped abruptly, turned around and continued to charge. Then what are you, spare food? Lackey Lu laughed, this is the only trick I can use. He quickly pulled out his pistol and fired several shots at Jack, but the bullets with hockey attached only left small wounds on Jack's body, which were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. I think I know why you became a cadre. Lackey Lu sighed. Although this guy looks a little silly, he has strong defense and amazing recovery ability. A gunshot rang out, and Usopp fired a shot into the air. It looks like there's no sniper. Let me be your opponent. Jin drew out his weapon, and the flames from the back of his head flowed onto the weapon. Jin, I heard you fought against the Straw Hat Pirates. Have you seen my son? Usopp retreated instantly and fired 3 bullets from his spear. How did he perform? Jin blocked the bullet with his sword and chased after Usopp. Who is your son? Usopp, the sniper of the Straw Hat Pirates. Usopp fired a bullet to block Jin's attack. Do you remember? Jin directly transformed into a pterosaur and flew into the air. I don't remember. Does the Straw Hat Pirates have a sniper? Jin pulled his head back like a slingshot, then released it, sending a powerful shockwave towards Usopp. Diao is the Emperor. Usopp was so stunned by the strange attack that he forgot to dodge and was hit directly. It hurts. But this method of attack is really funny. How did you come up with it? Ha 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 ha, Usopp laughed and raised the gun in his hand. Freedom. The rapidly fired bullet pierced through Jin's wings. Is this a predictive shot? Jin tried to dodge with the observation hockey, but Usopp seemed to have predicted the direction of his dodge and the bullets still hit him. Observation hockey is just a small application. Although it is not as good as predicting the future, it is enough for snipers, said Usopp. Have you really never seen my son? He should be the main force of the Straw Hat Pirates, right? Jin flapped his wings, and fired flaming bullets from the flames behind him like a machine gun. You haven't seen your son for a long time, right? You don't even know his specific situation. The last time I saw him, he was just a snotty-nosed kid. When I heard from him again, he had grown up. Ha ha, Usopp dodged the attack of the flaming bullets. Yamato should really be shown what a truly irresponsible father looks like. Jin dived forward at great speed, spreading his wings and striking Usopp fiercely, Dan Gong Huang. I know I'm not a qualified father, but a quiet life is really not suitable for me. I'll apologize to my son the next time I see him. Usopp did not refute and fought with Jin with the gun in his hand. Crocodile faced Dahlia, while Moria looked for the tall Bendick sneak. Hawkeye did not take action and watched the fight between Buggy and Shanks. He has a deep understanding of the Red Hair Pirates, and unless Beckman takes action, he will not be interested in the other cadres. Licky, a senior cadre of the Buggy Pirates, was also watching the fight with a piece of meat in his hand, but he was targeted. A bald man with a monkey on his back came up to Lee Ji, and the monkey was still squeaking. Is this the silver lion Licky with a bounty of 1 billion berries? Mengshita wants to compete with you. Bald Bank Punch said politely. Lee Ji and Mengshita looked at each other and the pieces of meat in their hands fell to the ground. I've confirmed from the look in his eyes that he's someone I can't beat. Ricky suddenly thought of something and quickly ran a few steps to call Gyukimaru over. Gyukimaru glanced at Mengshita, and after a puff of smoke, he transformed into the Dai Nyudo form. Want to fight Boss Ricky? You have to get past me first. Gyukimaru pointed a huge naginata at Mengshita. The mythical beast seed fruit. Bank Punch looked at Gyukimaru with great interest. Mengshita squeaked a few times at Gyukimaru. That's right, only if you beat me will Boss Ricky fight you. Gyukimaru said. During the days when Buggy bullied him, it was Ricky who gave him food from time to time, so Gyukimaru respected Ricky very much. Mengshita suddenly disappeared from Bank Punch's shoulder, took out a long sword and fought with Gyukimaru. Actually using weapons. Lee Ji looked at his own claws and realized that he was simply a scum among animals. I heard that there is another beast, Mochi, in your group. Where is he? Asked Bank Punch. Well, Mochi went to tame the ferocious beast and is not in Wano Kuni. Kabaji said, and Alvida beside him nodded vigorously. What a pity, why don't you become my opponents? Said Bank Punch. This guy is so fierce. Although Bank Punch was always polite, Kabaji and Alvida were still scared when they saw his appearance. A giant figure suddenly stood behind them. It was the silent tyrant bear. Bald man, come and compete with my father. Bonnie saw that something was not right and sent the tyrant bear over. She knew the fighting power of Kabaji and Alvida, and they were definitely no match for the Red Hair Group cadres. Bartholomew Bear, he's a good opponent. Bank Punch's fists were covered with armament hockey. Let's have a fight. Who wants to fight me? Rockstar, a newcomer to Red Hair Pirates, found that no one was paying attention to him. Hey, I'm the strongest newcomer in our Red Hair Pirates. Do you want to have a competition? He aimed at the Flying Six who were standing together. Tisk, what an ignorant guy. A newcomer is so arrogant. Xiao Pei, go teach him a lesson. Runty said disdainfully. Why me? Am I weak? Peggy Wan said dissatisfiedly. I have fallen to the point of fighting a newcomer. Do you have any opinion, Xiao Pei? Runty's voice became dangerous. Okay, I get it. Peggy Wan said helplessly. Kid, New World is not a place where you can be arrogant. Peggy Wan's body rose sharply and turned into a Spinosaurus human beast form. A newcomer who doesn't make a name for himself is nothing. In a cave in the distance, a figure was quietly watching the fight between the two sides, holding a mirror in his arms. Chapter 64 Katakori's Peering, Bartolomeo's Provocation. Brother Katakori, what's going on outside? An evil-looking witch appeared in the mirror. The two sides have already started fighting, Brule. You just stay in the mirror world and don't come out. Katakori said. It's almost suffocating staying in there. Katakori, when can we get out? A figure pushed Brule aside. It was Smoothie, one of the three generals. I don't know what the Buggy Pirates have been doing lately. The entire Wano Kuni is under their surveillance. Katakori said in a deep voice, the closer we get to Flower City, the more we feel like we're being watched. Wait, we'll be able to come out at night. We didn't feel it. Smoothie curled his lips. Could it be that your observation hockey has surpassed us so much? Smoothie found it hard to imagine who could monitor an entire country, but since Katakori said so, it must be true. Unlike the self-important Perospero, Katakori is calm and more trustworthy. Paraspero escaped after the Battle of Onigashima and reunited with them some time ago. After announcing the death of his mother Charlotte Linlin, he was about to form a new pirates group. Smoothie didn't know what to do for a moment, but then Katakori's arrival brought worse news. The kingdom of Wan was captured by the Blackbeard pirates. Amid Paraspero's threats to reorganize the Big Mom pirates, Katakori fought him and defeated him. "I'm going to go check on my mother's condition myself," Katakori said. So the Big Mom pirates split again, and some people chose to follow Paraspero and establish a new pirates group. Because the moody aunt was not a good parent, many of her children had been living in fear, and the news of her death was good news for them. Some people also chose Katakori, including Smoothie. Under Katakori's command, they successfully landed on Wano-kuni. But not long after, Katakori discovered something was wrong and asked them to enter Brulee's mirror world, where they were led by Katakori to hide during the day and come out at night. At the crash site of Ghost Island, they found 2 deep pits leading directly to the lava area. There was no way to continue searching. Even Katakori couldn't enter the boiling magma. Next, Katakori showed no intention of leaving. Instead, he kept wandering around Wano-kuni, observing something. Until the Red Hair Pirates arrived, they hid again. "What's the point of us staying in Wano-kuni?" asked Smoothie. "Blackbeard has captured a lot of us. I have to find a way to rescue them," Katakori said. Smoothie was silent for a while. Those who had no feelings for Big Mom pirates left, and those who followed Katakori still had some sense of responsibility towards the family. But their strength is far inferior to that of the Blackbeard pirates. If they want to fight against them, they can only seek reinforcements. "Do you want to rely on the power of the Buggy pirates? That's why you stay in Wano-kuni?" Smoothie asked. "I'm also curious about Buggy's way of governing Wano-kuni," Katakori said. "Do you remember your mother's dream, Smoothie?" "My mother wanted to create an utopia where all races live equally, so she founded the World Kingdom," Smoothie said. "But my mother later became more and more cruel. It seems that she has forgotten her dream." Even these strong children were somewhat afraid of Charlotte Linlin's temper, not to mention the weaker children. Utopia. Wano-kuni now has some prototypes of utopia. I want to see why Buggy can do all this in a short period of time, and whether I should ask him for help," Katakori said. Now that his mother has passed away, he has to take care of his younger siblings and see if the Buggy pirates are worth joining. But, the Buggy pirates are really strong. At the same time, Beckman, who is on the battlefield, also made the same sigh. Although he and the 2 cadres did not take action, Hawkeye, Hancock and others on the opposite side were also idle. The top-level warriors are about the same, but the mid-level Buggy pirates have a clear advantage over the Red Hair Pirates. Rockstar was already a newcomer who performed well in the Red Hair Pirates, but he was chased and beaten by Peggy 1. After annexing the remnants of the Beast's pirates, the Buggy pirates became even more powerful. Moreover, Buggy has a group of impelled-down prisoners, all of whom have bounties of over 10 million yuan. What kind of charm does that man have that can recruit these people to his side? Beckman was thinking when he suddenly realized that someone seemed to be staring at him. He looked around and found that the source of his sight was a guy with a candle burning on his head. "Are you Mr. 3 from the Buggy Pirates?" Beckman asked. He had seen this guy on wanted posters. The brains behind the Buggy Pirates. Beckman saw that Mr. 3 seemed to panic for a moment, and then quickly returned to normal. "Is this guy covering up something?" "That's right." Mr. 3 pushed his glasses and said calmly, "It's me. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel." "Are you bored?" Beckman pulled out his pistol. "Shall we have a fight?" "No. There are more important things to do now." Mr. 3 broke out in a cold sweat. "I'm considering forming an alliance. The captain is unreliable, so we have to handle these things." "Ah, that makes sense." Beckman seemed to have found a confidant. They decided to form an alliance in just a few words, but they didn't know how much trouble it would involve. "It seems this guy is surprisingly reliable," Beckman thought. Mr. 3 used candles to build a set of tables and chairs with parasols in the middle of the battlefield. Sit down and talk. You guys came so quickly. Are you near Wano-kuni? Yes, actually we are tracking the Barto Club pirates nearby, and our captain wants to teach their leader Bartolomeo a lesson. Beckman said. Bartolomeo. Mr. 3 seemed to have heard of this guy. Isn't he the second captain of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet? That's right, but that guy's behavior was a bit too much. He burned the flag of our pirates group in our territory, said Beckman. Although our captain is careless about some things, he cannot sit idly by and watch things like this. Beckman's eyes flashed coldly. Even if you are a member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, you have to pay the price for doing something wrong. Is that guy a fool? Mr. 3 was speechless. Burning the flag was a huge insult to any force. It might even lead to a war. The key point is that Captain Buggy also invited the Straw Hat Pirates to come to Wano-kuni, so they won't be affected, right? Chapter 65. Fans' Behavior. Idols pay the price. Fans are the ones who want idols to die the most. What are you going to do with Bartolomeo? Mr. 3 asked. It depends on his attitude in admitting his mistakes. If his attitude is good, beat him half to death and disband his pirates group. If his attitude is bad, kill him. Beckman said casually. Yes, it's in line with pirates' usual style. Then your relationship with the Straw Hat Pirates will not be affected, right? Bartolomeo's life or death has nothing to do with Mr. 3. He is just worried that it will affect the unity of the anti-gang alliance. Of course not, unless Straw Hat Boy insists on standing up for Bartolomeo. Beckman said in a deep voice. The two discussed the alliance on the noisy battlefield, but Beckman didn't know why he always felt a sense of disharmony. It was not until the discussion that Beckman went back to chat with another cadre who did not participate in the war, Reem Jones, that Reem Jones woke him up with a word. Beckman, the guy opposite looks a lot like you, always pretending to be serious. Beckman finally understood where the sense of disharmony came from. Mr. 3's words and actions were similar to his own. What do you mean by pretending to be serious? I am just such a calm man, okay. Beckman said. That's what you said. Lime Jones did not argue with him, but Beckman, while watching the game, I suddenly discovered a very serious problem. It's about our red hair pirates. What's the problem? Beckman was a little surprised. We, the red hair pirates, don't even have a single female crew member. Lime Jones said seriously. Beckman was silent for a moment, then pulled out his gun and pointed it at Lem Jones. Why are you posing here for so long just thinking about this stupid question? I'm just expressing my feelings. Why are you, a 50-year-old man, so angry? Lime Jones deliberately emphasized the word, 50-year-old man. I feel like we have too many officers in our group and we need to clean it up, Beckman said. Hey, someone's watching you over there, so pay attention to your image. Lime Jones pointed forward. Beckman indeed found that Mr. 3 was staring at him intently. What does that guy mean? Is there something about me that attracts him? Beckman felt a little embarrassed being stared at like that. The key is still the allies, and we can't get angry. Maybe he just wants to look at you quietly. Lime Jones finally couldn't help laughing. I really want to hit someone right now. How about I go find Ptolomeo the Chin? He's been active around Wano-kuni. Beckman felt a nameless fire and wanted to find a place to vent it. It's almost over, said Lime Jones. It feels like the captain is going to suffer. In the center of the battlefield, Shanks had discarded his weapons and was fighting with his fists. There was no way. Griffin's attacks on Buggy had no effect at all. Seeing this, Buggy also threw away Chu Shui and started a fist fight. But Shanks soon discovered something was wrong. He only had one arm, which was a natural disadvantage. And Buggy's fist can split, which is not easy to defend at all. By the time Shanks realized this, he had already been hit several more times. Stop it, stop fighting. Shanks could only shout loudly to stop. If you continue to fight, you will lose your face. Now you remember the benefits of your arms, Shanks. Buggy retracted his fist and pulled out the Chu Shui that was stuck in the ground. I can't help it. I exchanged it for something more precious. Shanks said. It's just a part of your body anyway, Just be happy. Okay, the welcome ceremony is over, stop it. Buggy shouted, now it's time to officially entertain our allies. The two sides in the fierce battle stopped. Panting, Lucky Lu looked at Jack, who was covered in wounds but still in good spirits. Even though zone fruit users are known for their tough skin and flesh, you were exaggerating. Did this guy put all his strength into taking beatings? Although he was not injured, he was more tired than if he was injured. You're not a good opponent. Jack also changed back to human form. Why do you keep dodging? Shut up, Jack, he's already shown mercy. Jin flew over. He could see clearly from high in the air that Jack was no match for Lucky Lu. This fat guy was one of the top masters among the Red Hair Pirates. You still have the energy to observe the battle situation elsewhere. It seems that the pressure I put on you is not enough. Usopp also came over. Let's spar another day. Not interested. Usopp's predictive attack is too disgusting, and Jin can only rely on the fire of the Lunalia clan to resist. Of course, if it's a life and death battle, that's another story. In the end, except for Gyukimaru and Rockstar who were beaten badly, no one else suffered much damage. This special welcome ceremony allowed the two pirates groups to understand each other's strengths, so the subsequent cooperation would naturally be on an equal footing. The group marched into the Flower City in a mighty procession, attracting the attention of passers-by. Wow, it's Commander Buggy, Commander-in-Chief, we respect your teeth. You've done a good job governing Wano Kuni, Buggy. Shanks found that the people here were not afraid of the pirates. They are so popular. Because anyone who didn't welcome me was hanged. Buggy said casually. Haha, you're such a joker. If that were the case, people here should be afraid of you instead of your current attitude. Shanks thought Buggy was joking. Only the Buggy pirates knew that, in a sense, Captain Buggy was telling the truth. However, the most popular one among the children was Jack, and soon a bunch of children climbed on him. I can't tell, little brother. Lucky Lu looked at Jack in surprise. We are quite predestined. I am the most popular kid in our pirates group. How about we work together and find a Blackbeard pirates officer to deal with him together? Lucky Lu patted Jack's sturdy body. What a good meat shield. With him in the front, all he had to do was attack with peace of mind. I only follow the captain's orders, Jack said in a muffled voice. Mr. 3 also told Buggy the reason why the Red Hair Pirates came so quickly. Bartolomeo. Buggy remembered this avid fan of Luffy. The reason why he started to chase stars was because of Buggy. Bartolomeo, who was born in Logue Town, regarded Luffy as his idol after watching Buggy execute Luffy. It seems that no matter which world they are in, such fanatical fans are a time bomb. Buggy began to understand why Shanks wanted to teach Bartolomeo a lesson. Now they dare to burn the pirates' flag of Red Hair Pirates. If we do nothing, these fanatical fans may push their idols to the opposite side of the world one day. Bartolomeo, Luffy, even if you make the whole world your enemy, I will stand by you. Luffy, why should I make the whole world my enemy? Bartolomeo, it's okay, I will help you fight against the world because I am your fan. Chapter 66 Come with me, Shawo, to a world without XX. Teacher Bunta, there's a party going on in Hana-no-Do, take us there. We heard that a powerful new group of pirates has arrived, and we want to go check it out. Kizaru's face froze. Why did the pirates need to watch the fun when they came? These little brats should really be allowed to see what pirates from the outside world are like. Okay, I'll take you out to have a look. Kizaru thought about it and took the children away from the school. The Flower City is brightly lit and bustling at night. When they arrived at the outskirts of the party, Kizaru took out some shopping vouchers and let the children play by themselves. Anyway, it's very safe outside now. Go buy something to eat and have fun while you eat. I'll pick you up here later. Although they didn't know what the teacher was going to do, the children happily agreed so that they could buy something to eat. The lights nearby suddenly became brighter, and Kizaru left with peace of mind. Shortly after he left, a tall figure arrived nearby and stood outside of Kizaru's surveillance range. It feels familiar. It turns out that we can monitor not only during the day, but also at night. Katakori's observation haki has already started the early warning. What should we do, Katakori? Smoothie's voice came from the mirror in his arms. He is so cautious even with 2-4 emperors here. What a scary man. In that case, let's just go find him openly. Katakori said. Have you decided? Smoothie knew what he was going to do, but still felt sad. Since the remnants of the Beast's pirates can join the Buggy Pirates, why should we be so reserved? Katakori said, as long as Buggy can help us rescue our brothers and sisters, it's okay to work for him. The main reason was that time was running out. If they were not rescued quickly, given Blackbeard's personality, he might sell them to celestial dragons as slaves. Thinking of this, Katakori ignored the feeling of being watched and strode into the banquet venue. At this time, Kizaru had arrived at the outskirts of the Flower City, near a newly built giant building. The security here is tight, but they can't stop Kizaru, who can turn into light. He easily sneaked into the building. It was so empty inside and it seemed like it hadn't been put into use yet. Most of the Noe Marine people were just idling around, which made Kizaru envious. He sneaked into the center area and found traces of Ian. At this time, Ain was in a glass greenhouse, observing the mating of Den Den Mushi. The 61st experiment. Although the retrograde fruit reset the Den Den Mushi's body, its memory and spirit will not be reset. Number 1 and Number 2 have entered a state of inactivity. Ain continued recording as he looked at the two Den Den Mushi whose antennae were straight but moving slowly. It turns out that Den Den Mushi also have their limits. Their spirits have surpassed the instincts of their bodies, and it seems that they have entered a state of no desires or demands. Ain noticed that one of the Den Den Mushi had a dull look in his eyes and thought of a suitable adjective. It's no use trying to retreat now. I don't know if they can recover after a few days of rest. Ian closed the book and breathed a sigh of relief. Why am I so obsessed with doing experiments? Is it the instinct of a scientist? But how can Marshal Sakazuki complete his mission? Should he hand over a Den Den Mushi mating log to him? But my ability is so useful. 1,000,000 Den Den Mushi sounded like a lot, but Ain knew that if she and Shinobi worked well together, it would only be a matter of time before they achieved this goal. Moreover, with a large number of Den Den Mushi, various experiments can be carried out, and maybe a multifunctional Den Den Mushi can be cultivated. But I really don't want the title of Mother of Den Den Mushi. I wonder if I can give it to Ninja. While Ain was daydreaming, a voice came from behind her. Ain, what are you doing here? Who is it? Ian immediately became alert and instantly drew out his sword and slashed behind him. But the sword hit a ball of light, and Ian also saw the appearance of the uninvited guest. Kizaru, she exclaimed. It's not polite to call you by your nickname, Junior Ain. Since there was no ability attached to Ion's sword, Kizaru did not dodge. Why are you here, Kizaru? Ian said, gritting his teeth. I should be the one asking you this. You're a Noe Marine, but you joined the pirates. I wonder how sad Mr. Zephyr would be if he knew that. Kizaru made an exaggerated expression. You still have the nerve to mention Teacher Zephyr. If it weren't for you, Teacher Zephyr wouldn't have died. A pink flame ignited on Ion's sword. If he doesn't die, the world will be destroyed. Kizaru dodged Ion's attack. I can't let Zephyr-sensei fall from a hero to a devil. Then who was it that pushed Mr. Zephyr into the abyss in the end? He originally just wanted to kill the pirates, but you turned his enemy into a companion. As a rare female swordsman, Ion was quite powerful, but her opponent was the fastest Marine Admiral Kizaru, and her attack could not even touch the corner of Kizaru's clothes. I don't want to do that, but my ability is limited. Kizaru sighed. The Sword of Sealing Light. 3 lightsabers fell from the sky and turned into a fence that trapped Ion in the center. Are you sure you want to join the pirates? Kizaru asked. At least Buggy will avenge us and kill Edward Weeble. And you will do nothing. Ian said angrily. Actually, Kizaru was about to say that Garp and Sengoku had gone out to look for Edward Weeble, but shook his head. Even if I kill him, it doesn't matter. Teacher Zephyr can't be resurrected. It's up to you. But even if you join the pirates, don't forget your bottom line. After all, you were once Marines. Kizaru is not a moral saint and has no intention of hijacking other people's ideas. He picked up the fallen notes on the ground and wanted to see what Ian was doing. After flipping through 2 pages, his expression froze. Den Mushi are so cute, how can you treat them like this? Just by looking at the experimental records, Kizaru knew how insect insensitive the Den Mushi were treated. He was also secretly shocked. If the experiment was successful, the Buggy Pirates would have an endless supply of Den Mushi. This means that Ain's value is much greater than imagined, even more important than the reunion of the 4 emperors. Should we take her back? But given the nature of the world government, what awaits Ain will be a result that will never see the light of day. It's always so troublesome to make a decision. Kizaru threw the notebook to the ground. Thank me, Junior. I still have some sense of justice as a senior. Really? Ian looked unconvinced. The sword of light will dissipate in 3 minutes. It's best not to let anyone know about my presence, or you'll be in trouble. Kizaru was about to leave when the dull-eyed Den Mushi suddenly crawled to his feet, tears slowly welling up in its lifeless eyes. Kizaru suddenly resonated with it and saw his own shadow in the Den Mushi. That was shortly after he developed the Prism of Light, and it was the first time he knew that Logia users also had their limits. Do you want to get out of here, little one? Kizaru asked. There were more tears in Den Mushi's eyes. I understand. Kizaru carefully placed the Den Mushi on his shoulder. Just follow me from now on. I'll call you Xiaokua. Kizaru took Naphilium out of the Den Mushi Research Center, and when he flew into the air, he saw the situation in the flower capital. This is Katakuri from the Big Mom Pirates. Why is he here? Chapter 67 Shanks. People can't. At least they shouldn't. Banquet kitchen. Ms. Shinobi, please ripen this batch of tuna. A pirates came to Ainin with a basket of small tuna. They only live for 30 years at most. Don't over-ripen them. Anin used his ability numbly, and a bunch of tuna over 2 meters long appeared in the kitchen. They were alive and kicking and caused chaos in the kitchen. Some chefs hurriedly moved the tuna away for processing. And these lobsters, don't worry about ripening them, they have a very long lifespan. Then someone brought in a basket of lobsters. So, can my familiar technique still be used like this? Ninja, who was seconded by Buggy to help in the kitchen, thought. Since you can make Momonosuke bigger, it shouldn't be a problem to make these fish and shrimp bigger, Buggy said at the time. You ate a ripe fruit, not a rotten fruit. Don't keep thinking about using the power of the devil fruit to attack. As a result, Ainin did this very easily. Why didn't I think of it at the beginning? Otherwise, if I worked hard, it wouldn't be a problem to feed the whole city, and so many people wouldn't have starved to death. A voice came from outside. Captain Buggy said that today's seafood is completely free. Everyone can taste it as much as they want, but before eating, you have to thank the beautiful ninja Ainin from Wanokuni. Thank you, ninja. A deafening sound was heard, and listening to the laughter of civilians outside, Anin suddenly felt full of strength. Stop it, Ms. Shinobi, this lobster is already big enough. When Shinobi came to her senses, she found a lobster over 5 meters tall waving its claws at her. Wow! As Ninja was about to dodge, a swift flash of a knife passed by, splitting the lobster in half, revealing the transparent shrimp meat. Denjiro. Ninja discovered that the person who came to help was Denjiro, one of the 9 red scabbards, and he was accompanied by Kawamatsu, Kikunosuke and Kazuki Hiyori. A group of chefs hurried over, carried the giant lobster away, and discussed how to deal with it. I heard the cheers outside. Ninja, you are the most popular person in the flower capital now. Denjiro sheathed his sword and said with a smile. Why are you here? Asked a Ren. I'm tired from work, so I took Miss Hiyori out to relax. Denjiro felt his arms ache when he thought of work. Miss Shinobi, there is enough food, you can rest now. The person in charge of the kitchen said, go and enjoy the banquet with your friends. Several people left the kitchen and came to the noisy street. I'm sorry, Princess Hiyori. I worked for the enemy. Shinobu was a little afraid to face Kazuki Hiyori. It's okay, I'm working for them too. Kazuki Hiyori said, so are Denjiro and the others. She looked at the cheerful crowd around her. Although I don't want to admit it, Wano-kuni is indeed getting better under his rule. So, work hard, Shinobi, this is also for Wano-kuni. Princess Hiyori. Shinobi's eyes became moist. Don't worry, Princess Hiyori, I will try my best to compress the growth of Den Den Mushi to the limit. As long as they hatch, they will reproduce the next generation for me. I always feel like Ninja is getting excited. Kikunojo covered his mouth and laughed. Hey, should we respond to the call for help? I heard that if we join the combat team, we won't have to work. Hisong said, I feel like throwing up if I have to temper my weapons every day. Go ahead, take me with you. Kazuki Hiyori said, I want to go out to sea too. But it seems like going to war with other pirates groups could be dangerous. Denjiro was a little worried. Don't I have your protection? Besides, I have much more sailing experience than you. I have even been on the ship of Pirate King Roger. Kazuki Hiyori said with a smile. She vaguely remembered that there was a red-nosed guy who always made her happy, but after they met again, he became her enemy. Okay then, let's go out to sea and see the outside world. Denjiro made the decision. We'll sign up after the party. Shanks, why do I feel like you're a little absent-minded? At the main banquet, the two pirates groups were drinking happily, but Buggy noticed that Shanks' eyes were always secretly looking elsewhere. Ah, it's nothing, isn't this normal, haha, Shanks said hurriedly, a little flustered. Buggy looked in the direction Shanks was peeking and found that there was someone he knew over there, Tama, the user of the dumpling fruit. Xiaoyu was there picking out something to eat, but Shanks shouldn't recognize her. Buggy turned his gaze towards Speedmame who was accompanying Jade. Could it be that Shanks had been peeking at her? Shanks, Buggy said slowly, even though you've been single for a long time and lost your left arm, I hope you can stick to your bottom line. People shouldn't, at least they shouldn't. What are you talking about? Shanks was confused. Have you been peeking at her? Buggy pointed at Speed. Mommy in the distance. I respect everyone's XP, and no man can resist the temptation of My Little Pony. But you're my friend, Shanks, and I don't want you to go astray. Shanks was stunned for a moment, and it took him a long time to react. Buggy, you be asterisk 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 D. I was just looking at her hairstyle, I don't have such dirty thoughts. Shanks grabbed Buggy's clothes on his chest and yelled. The banquet scene suddenly became quiet, and everyone didn't know why the two captains of the pirates had a conflict. Ignore them, they're just old friends who haven't seen each other for years and are fooling around. Beckman said, let's continue to have fun. Our captain is a little frivolous sometimes, but you'll get used to it. Mr. 3 echoed. The party became lively again, and Beckman and Mr. 3 clinked glasses of wine to show their sympathy for each other. What dirty thoughts are you having? I don't understand, Shanks. Buggy looked innocent. Are you looking at the hairstyle? Speedmame's half-black and half-white hairstyle is very similar to his daughter Yuta. Is this guy missing his daughter? You seem to be worried lately, as if you're having a midlife crisis. Tell me if you have anything on your mind. Maybe I can help you, Buggy said. You don't know, there are some things only I can solve. Shanks drank a glass of wine. My daughter whom I haven't seen for many years seems to have reached her rebellious stage and is disobedient. What should I do? Don't be so depressed. Our time has not passed yet. If the two pirates join forces, it won't be difficult for us to attack the Holy Land of Mariajoy. Buggy patted Shanks on the shoulder. Strength can solve almost any problem. If it can't, then you must not be strong enough. I wish I were as heartless as you. Shanks said, let's not talk about this anymore. Hurry up and deal with that guy. I have my own things to do. There's no rush. Not everyone is here yet. Buggy said. You called someone else. Shanks didn't expect Buggy to be so cautious. Wait, could it be Luffy? Shanks could only think of Luffy as someone who had a good relationship with Buggy and the ability to participate in this matter. Not only that, but also. Buggy was about to speak, but he noticed that Shanks was looking in another direction. A tall figure walked out slowly, emitting the aura of a strong man, and the banquet fell into silence again. Katakuri. Buggy looked at the uninvited guest. Why are you here? Chapter 68. You've said it for me, what else can I say? Is this the helper you're looking for? Shanks was a little surprised. Buggy, when did you get in touch with the Bigmom pirates? I am not. I don't. Buggy was about to speak when Katakuri spoke. Sir Shanks, there are no Bigmom pirates anymore. After Mom disappeared, the Blackbeard pirates raided the world of nations and occupied Cake Island. It turns out Blackbeard is in Wano country. I thought he was in Beehive Island. Fortunately, Buggy got the news from Katakuri. He wanted to ask Katakuri why he came. Then, so you're joining Buggy to fight the Blackbeard pirates? Shanks asked. Katakuri was stunned for a moment. Yes, I want to deal with the Blackbeard pirates. It's a pity that Buggy got such a talent first. Shanks sighed. Katakuri, it's the same whether you want to come to me or not. They were all going to fight the Blackbeard pirates, why did you choose Buggy? Although Katakuri didn't know what happened, if he agreed to Shanks, wouldn't he offend Buggy? Thank you, but I'm fine. Katakuri said. You're so cunning, Buggy. You actually took the opportunity of attacking the Blackbeard pirates to recruit new followers. Shanks hit Buggy on the shoulder. What did you want to say? Ah, you've already said it all. I don't have anything more to say. Buggy said. It seems like you are the ultimate beneficiary of all the recent major events. Shanks discovered that since Buggy became the Four Emperors, his power has continued to expand. The Shichibukai, the remnants of the Beast's pirates, and the remnants of the Bigmom pirates all ran to his pirates group. The key point is that both King Jin of the Beast's pirates and Katakuri of the Bigmom pirates are core characters besides the captain. His original intention to poach Marco was just a joke and there was no chance of success, but Buggy quietly poached two people. I think we don't need to wait for Luffy, we should just go fight Blackbeard directly. Shanks said. Katakuri's expression changed slightly. If you want to deal with Blackbeard, I still have some fighting power here. He put the mirror in his hand on the ground, and a figure emerged from the mirror. It was Charlotte Bree. Is this the user of the mirror fruit? Buggy remembers that the mirror fruit is also a fruit with a very high upper limit. If Buggy had this fruit ability, he would first open a mirror factory and sell the touched mirrors all over the world. In this way, his mirror space can be connected to the entire world. Brûlé opened the entrance to the mirror world, and the group walked out of the mirror world. Leading the group was Smoothie, one of the three generals, followed by Charlotte Daifuku and other officers. Buggy also saw Charlotte Pudding. We are quite familiar with the terrain of Cake Island, Captain Buggy. If we want to go there, please let us be the vanguard, Katakuri said. He didn't expect Buggy and Shanks to attack Blackbeard right away. Was this a coincidence or a plan by that man? Katakuri glanced at Buggy and thought of the surveillance that covered almost the entire Wano-kuni. Could it be that I have fallen into his control since I set foot on Wano-kuni? Some people haven't arrived yet. They all have grudges against Blackbeard, big or small. It would be embarrassing if they broke their promise. Buggy said. It's a rare opportunity to plan a big event, so Buggy certainly hopes it will be as lively as possible. If it's Luffy, he should understand. Shanks said, let's just go. But there's not only Luffy, there are others too. Let's wait for 3 more days. After 3 days, whether they come or not, we'll set off. Buggy made the decision. The main thing is that we still have to wait for a key person, Big News Morgans, and we can only rely on him for the live broadcast. No one knows where this guy has been hiding recently, and Buggy can only contact him through his messenger bird. Let's make preparations during these 3 days, said Buggy. What other preparations do we need to make? Shanks felt that the Blackbeard pirates could be crushed by the sheer number of strong men. Prepare a good entrance ceremony. Buggy smiled, just like you did in Summit War. Shanks didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Do you take war as a joke? In the distance, Kizaru watched this scene through the prism of light. Although there was no sound, Kizaru had already guessed what had happened when he saw Katakuri leading the Bigmom pirates to sit below Buggy. When the children came back from their play, Kizaru took back all the prisms in the flower capital. With Katakuri here, it's no longer safe to monitor the flower capital. It's really a headache. There are so many strong people gathered in the small Wano-kuni. After settling the children down, Kizaru took out the fax Den Mushi. Den Mushi looked curiously at the little snail on Kizaru's shoulder, then started working. Kizaru sent Wano-kuni's message to Akainu via fax Den Mushi. Of course, this kind of thing should be reported to Sakazuki first, and let him worry about it, because he is the Marine Marshal after all. In the Marine Marshal's office, Akainu received a fax from Kizaru. This time, there was no nonsense at all. It seems that the situation is indeed urgent. This was Akainu's first thought when he saw the fax. After reading the fax, Akainu's face darkened. The Buggy Pirates' strength has increased again, but the Marine has no extra strength to limit them. Akainu didn't know what the Buggy Pirates and the Red Hair Pirates were going to do, but with the two Four Emperors groups getting together, he had to consider the safety of the Marine headquarters. He took out a Den Mushi and contacted Fujitora, who was out at sea. Return to Marine headquarters immediately. Akainu said. Why? Not going to Alabasta. At this time, Fujitora's warship was sailing on the sea, and standing next to him was a blue-haired beauty, who was Princess Vivi of Alabasta. In case of emergency, there must be enough strong people at the Marine headquarters. Akainu said. But there's a rebellion in Alabasta. If we don't do anything about it, there will be great casualties, Fujitora said in embarrassment. This is an order, Fujitora. Akainu said coldly, you just need to obey. I refuse to carry out orders without a proper reason. Fujitora refused to give in. Akainu was immediately furious, but thinking of Fujitora's character, he forced himself to hold it back. The Marine headquarters is in danger now. If the worst happens, the casualties will be 10 or even 100 times that of Alabasta, Akainu said. Fujitora was silent. He could sense that Akainu was telling the truth. I'm sorry, Princess Vivi. Fujitora apologized to the people around him. I have to return to Marine headquarters. I heard you. Please put me on the nearby island. Vivi was very calm. Once I'm done, I'll rush to Alabasta as quickly as possible, Fujitora assured Vivi. Vivi instead asked Fujitora a question. Mr. Fujitora, what exactly is the Marine's duty? To protect the safety of civilians, Fujitora said. Vivi sneered and said nothing, but Fujitora felt his face burning. Now I can't even carry out that insignificant justice to the end. Marshal Sakazuki. Fujitora suddenly picked up the Den Mushi. I refuse to follow orders and accept all punishments. Fujitora. Akainu's anger could be felt even through the Den Mushi. The overall situation is more important. But I'm blind and can't see that far. Fujitora hung up the Den Mushi directly. Princess Vivi, I will continue to head to Alabasta. Those rebels will not cause any trouble. This is the guarantee of a Marine Admiral. Fujitora said. Thank you. Vivi finally couldn't help crying. Not long ago, her father Cobra was assassinated in the Holy Land of Mariajoy, but the world government said that he died at the hands of the Revolutionary Army. Soon after, the royal branch of Alabasta launched a rebellion, clashed with the mermaids, and even captured the royal family of the mermaids. If Vivi and Shirahoshi hadn't intervened, the mermaids would have almost gone to war with Alabasta. This is just the Marine's responsibility, said Fujitora. Vivi wiped her tears and said, I'm sorry to have embarrassed you. No, you're already strong enough. There's no time to cry now. I'm going to save my country for the second time. Vivi forced a smile. But why did you change your mind, Master Fujitora? Because I met a guy who didn't play by the rules. Maybe I was influenced by him. Chapter 69 Highest Alert, Light of Justice. Damn it, Fujitora. Akainu looked at Den Mushi, which had lost communication, and knew that Fujitora was determined to go to Alabasta. He dialed a new Den Mushi. Kuroba, ask Vice Admiral Kamizaru to come over to my place. They are the old team left by Sengoku, and together with Kizaru, who is far away in Wano-kuni, they are the people that Akainu can fully trust. Fujitora is different from Green Bull, they are two extremes and cannot gain Akainu's trust. Fujitora is too soft-hearted, unwilling to sacrifice anything, and unable to distinguish between the importance of justice. Green Bull is crazy and indifferent to life, often causing unnecessary casualties. Sometimes Akainu doesn't even know what he is thinking. Soon, Dark Horse, the director of the Marine Criminal Investigation Department, and Crane, the Vice Admiral's staff officer, came to the Marshal's office. Dark Horse, how is the investigation into Cobra's assassination going? Akainu asked. There's no trace at all, said Dark Horse. He looked up at him. The biggest doubt was that he couldn't find any trace. The Revolutionary Army was not familiar with the Holy Land of Mariajoy at all, so it was impossible for them to do it perfectly. Akainu cursed inwardly, thinking it must be those idiots again. But I did hear that the world government wants to put the blame on Buggy the Clown. Dark Horse said, that way it will be much easier for them. Since Buggy the Clown killed celestial dragons in public, no matter what he does, no one will be surprised. He is the perfect scapegoat. Isn't it surprising no matter what they do? Including attacking the Marine headquarters. Akainu snorted. This is the information Borsellino sent back at the risk of his life. Akainu handed the facts to the two. 4 emperors. Crane looked at the intelligence in his hand, and another is a 4 emperors regiment that is seriously overstaffed. It's really not easy for Borsellino to get the intelligence. Why was Buggy able to subdue Kaido and Charlotte Linlin's men? Dark Horse asked, have their deaths been confirmed? The information Marine received was that Kaido and Charlotte Linlin fell into the underground magma and their lives were in danger. How should I know? Akainu said irritably, but this is the fact now. The Buggy Pirates have grown in strength and have met with the Red Hair Pirates. Do you think they will attack the Marine headquarters? Through the intelligence obtained in the past few days, Akainu also had a general understanding of Buggy. Unlike most chaotic evil pirates, he was an orderly evil one. Pirates seek freedom, but he likes order. Under his rule, people who obey the rules will not only not be harmed, but will be protected by him. Those who resist will be killed without mercy. Akainu thought his style of doing things was already extreme, but then a pirate appeared who was even more extreme than himself. It is unlikely that such a guy would attack the Marine headquarters, but he had to be on guard. But the problem now is that there are not enough people, and Akainu has no one available. If all else fails, activate the highest alert, recall most of the Marines, and defend the Marine headquarters. Dark Horse made a suggestion. Now the Revolutionary Army has started wars in various places and has overthrown the rule of 8 kingdoms. If we recall Marine, the member states of the world government will have no objection. He said. Countries paid huge amounts of gold in exchange for Marine protection. If the Marines withdraw most of their forces, they will definitely be unhappy. At this moment, the fac-style Mushi made a beeping sound, and a piece of paper, spit it out, from the device on its back. Akainu glanced at the note and made an immediate decision. Activate highest alert, Vice Admiral Suru. Contact Sengoku and Garp and have them rush back to the Marine headquarters as quickly as possible. Dark Horse, inform Green Bull to ignore the 5 elders' orders and stay at the headquarters. What happened, Sakazuki? Suru asked. Borsellino just sent a message that the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long, and his cadre Ivankov have landed in Wano-kuni. Akainu burned the note in his hand to ashes. The world is about to change. What should we do about the Holy Land of Mariajoy? Should we notify them? Asked the Dark Horse. No. Don't worry about them. Akainu said, don't they still have the Knight of God in their hands? Sakazuki, you will be held accountable later if you do this, Suru said in surprise. That's a matter for the future. Even if they hold me accountable, what can they do to me? Akainu was not worried at all. I'll do it right away. Heima left the office first. Sakazuki, I heard that there are some radical factions among the Marines now. Most of them are young Marines. Crane said, they are somewhat dissatisfied with the current world. It's normal for young people to be passionate and radical. At least they are better than those slick old soldiers who have lost their sense of justice. Akainu disagreed. Forget it. Just be more careful. Get through this crisis first. He also left. At the school in Flower Capital, Kizaru started packing his things. The leisurely life is coming to an end, Xiao Snail. The moment he saw the dragon in the prism, Kizaru knew it was time for him to leave. At the critical moment when the Revolutionary Army launched a rebellion, Long, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, came to Wano Kuni. He must have something very important to do. Should we attack the Holy Land of Mariajoy or the Marine headquarters? Kizaru hoped it was the former, but he couldn't bet on it. After packing up his things, Kizaru was about to jump out the window when a voice stopped him. Go say goodbye to the children, Mr. Bunta. Suru had arrived outside the door without knowing when. I just went out to buy some Oden, Kizaru said awkwardly. Don't underestimate a woman's intuition. You are leaving, Mr. Bunta, Suru said. Yeah, there are some things I need to do. Kizaru knew he couldn't hide it anymore. My late husband also said he wanted to do great things, and then he disappeared for 20 years. Suru smiled sadly. You men always talk about this, but you don't care about how a woman survives in a country that is like hell. Seeing Kizaru's stiff expression, Suru regained his composure, but this has nothing to do with Mr. Bunta. Maybe you won't come back after this departure, but say goodbye to the children before you leave. They really like you. I see. Kizaru opened the package and put on the white marine robe. Justice. Is this what Mr. Bunta believes in? Suru looked at the two large words embroidered on the back of Marine's robe. That's right. Kizaru walked out of the house and saw that the children had received the message and gathered together. Little devils, teacher, I'm leaving. Maybe it was a group of pirates who saved your country, but I want to tell you that in other parts of the world, there is still a group of people wearing such clothes who are maintaining world order. They are called Marines. The teacher is not that extreme. Whether it's Marines or pirates, as long as they have a sense of justice, the teacher will recognize them. No matter what you become in the future, I hope you will not forget the word justice. This is the last thing I can teach you. Finally, the teacher is really strong. Kizaru turned into light and flew through the air. For a moment, all the strong men in the Flower City felt it, except for a guy who was not good at observation hockey. The light streaked across the sky and headed straight for Wano Kuni Harbor. Long, who had just got off the boat, felt something and his hands turned black. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. The next moment, the light came to the dragon's eyes, transformed into the figure of Kizaru, and kicked the dragon fiercely. Long time no see, Marine's traitor, dragon. Ryu's hands transformed into dragon claws and blocked Kizaru's kick. Borsellino, you are here. The fire of revolution I mentioned has been ignited. Will you come and help me? Your ideal world is too beautiful. A harmonious, free, equal, and dream-filled world is simply impossible to achieve, Drago. After the attack, Kizaru didn't want to fight anymore and flew away from Wano Kuni. Compared to your utopia, Buggy's method is more realistic. Kizaru's voice came from afar. Since you praise me so much, I am really interested. Long said. Ivankov, let's go around the country first. Chapter 70. End of the Pirates Era. Sanji is still too young. But Long's idea did not come true, as the noise made by Kizaru's departure had already alarmed the Flower Capital. Soon, a group of strong men rushed to the port. So Kizaru has been lurking in Wano Kuni, and I didn't know about it. But this guy is really fast. After listening to Long's narration, Buggy realized that the noise just now was caused by Kizaru. Katakuri found that the feeling of being monitored at the port had disappeared, and he had a bad guess, but it was better to keep this guess to himself. You actually invited the Revolutionary Army to fight Blackbeard. Shanks was a little helpless when he saw the dragon. There was an unwritten agreement in the past that outsiders were not allowed to participate in the fights between the four emperors, otherwise they would be besieged by other imperial groups. What kind of stupid agreement is this? Which idiot came up with it? Buggy asked. Cough, cough. Katakuri coughed twice, Captain, this proposal was made by Lord Shanks in order to maintain stability among the forces. Why do you like to balance the forces? Is there any special meaning, Shanks? Buggy asked. You should have been in East Blue at that time. You didn't know how chaotic the Grand Line was. There were so many ambitious people emerging, and the entire Grand Line was almost in the midst of war. In the constant battles, a group of outstanding figures emerged among the Marines and pirates. Shanks said, it was not until the Shichibukai, 4 emperors and Marines began to restrain each other that the Grand Line enjoyed a period of relative peace. This peace was gained with the blood of countless people, and I don't want anyone else to destroy it. It doesn't matter now. Shichibukai has been cancelled, and 4 emperors has also undergone a major change. There is no so-called balance anymore. Buggy said. If you want peace, then we should clean up the Blackbeard pirates and make new rules for this sea. You made such a big scene, is there such a purpose? Shanks asked in surprise, what kind of rules do you want to make? There is no need for pirates in this sea anymore. I plan to clean up the rest of the pirates except for those who are interested in finding Raftel. Buggy has not forgotten his great navigation plan. As long as he opens up trade routes between islands, he will have a steady stream of money coming in, which is much better than low-level methods such as robbery and plunder. I will open up some trade routes. Since they like sailing, they can become sea merchants. Buggy described his great voyage plan. Ah, what if you don't like being a sea merchant? Shanks felt that the pirates might not have the patience to make money by buying low and selling high, and that robbery would be faster. Then I'll send them to hell as pirates. Not only are they unproductive, but they are also affecting the great navigation program. Buggy has no intention of letting them go. You're even more cruel than the Marine. Shanks was speechless. They will also put the pirates in Impel Down. You will send them directly to hell. The key is that Buggy wants to do this, and he may actually succeed. With the current strength of the Buggy pirates, no one can be their opponent except Marine. Marine will only be happy to see Buggy's attack on the pirates. Are you going to end the era of pirates? Shanks said. If Buggy had acted quickly, by the time Luffy found Raftel, there probably wouldn't be many pirates left in the outside world. If there are sea merchants everywhere, does that mean the Pirates King will be changed to the Merchant King? Why not? The era started by Captain Roger will end by us, so it can be considered a complete beginning and an end. Buggy said with a smile. If we want to wipe out the pirates, our revolutionary army can also help. Long said. The high amount of heavenly gold and the plundering of pirates are the lingering nightmares of some countries. Regardless of whether Buggy's vision comes true or not, having fewer pirates would be a good thing for the world. You are a pirate yourself, but you want to attack those small pirate groups. Shanks always felt weird. Marine isn't even that proactive in doing this. When we reach a scale like ours, we are just carrying the name of pirates, but what we do is no longer what pirates should do, said Buggy. Unlike the Roger pirates who insisted on taking risks, the later 4 emperors were all independent forces. What they do is actually similar to the world government, except that the world government collects heavenly gold, while the 4 emperors collect protection fees. I can't quite keep up with your ideas. Shanks scratched his head. What do you think the chances are that your plan will come true? How would I know? But there's no loss if it can't be realized. It's just killing some pirates. Buggy looked indifferent. Forget it, let's hurry up and fight Blackbeard. Shanks had no idea what effect Buggy's actions would have on the world, but it sounded okay. Just like Buggy said, if it can't be achieved, all we can do is kill some pirates. There is a shortage of everything on the sea, except pirates. But his time is limited. The last time he went to Pengu City to meet the 5 elders, he got some information about his daughter Yuta from other channels. The child was too naive to see the truth of the world, and Shanks was worried that she would be taken advantage of. Are you in a hurry? It's not impossible to set off now. The rest of us can meet up on the way to Cake Island. Buggy said. Then let's gather our men and set off. Shanks said. I owe you a favor this time. If you need help in the future, remember to call me. Among the people gathered this time, Only Shanks and Blackbeard had no deep hatred and came to help purely out of Buggy's favor. What's the point of this? Blackbeard left me with a scar. Shanks said, pointing to the scar on his forehead. Without this scar, you seem silly. With the scar, you have more hockey. In fact, you should thank Blackbeard. If Shanks ate the face fruit, Blackbeard would have helped him awaken the face fruit. Then let's give him a grand funeral. Shanks laughed. Let's go. He climbed up Red Force first, followed by Beckman. Big guy, remember to come find me when you get to the battlefield. The two of us are the best partners. Lackey Lou said goodbye to Jack with a smile. Jack snorted coldly, is there anyone over there worthy of our cooperation? It's good that two of us can share one opponent. Lackey Lou jumped onto the boat. If we join forces, it will be embarrassing for others to snatch it. That's true. Jack realized belatedly that the Blackbeard pirates did not have that many officers. Hurry up and prepare a warehouse of fruits. Buggy instructed Mr. 3, see if it can be used when the time comes. Are you going to try to condense shock fruit or dark fruit? Mr. 3 said excitedly. No, your mission is to keep a close eye on Zanyu Hunter Katarina Deppen. The other fruits are not important, but I must get her devil fruit. Buggy said solemnly. Hey, is her devil fruit very powerful? It was the first time that Mr. 3 saw the captain so serious. That should be the devil fruit that men want the most. Sanji is still too young. The transparent fruit is garbage compared to it. Mr. 3 was confused. Are there any such strong people in the Blackbeard Pirates? Chapter 71. What is the back wave? What you love is what others don't want. Ah, let's go to Cake Island instead. I see. On Thousand Sunny, Luffy put down the Den Den Mushi. Buggy and the others have already left. Let's meet up at Cake Island. In the cabin, in addition to the members of the Straw Hat Pirates, there are also two pirates captains, Law and Kid. Tisk, is this the attitude to ask for help? Kid said, you didn't even wait for us. If it weren't for the title of 4 emperors, he would have wanted to leave directly and then see what expression Buggy the Clown would have. Actually, Buggy only invited Luffy and mentioned you in passing. Law said, you wanted to come on your own. I'm not here to help him. I just want to compete for the title of 4 emperors. If Buggy the Clown is at a disadvantage, I won't be polite. Kid grinned and said, whether it's Blackbeard or Buggy, it doesn't matter which of the 4 emperors falls. Luo didn't understand why Kid was so obsessed with the title of 4 emperors. The key was that he didn't have enough hard power. So what if he became 4 emperors? Didn't you want to challenge Buggy the Clown at first? What happened later? Luo asked. By the time they contacted Kid, his ship was far away from Wano-kuni. Are you looking for trouble? Kid was a little annoyed. He was very glad that he had the good habit of subscribing to newspapers, and spent 200 Baileys to buy the most valuable newspaper in history. Although he felt that he was as strong as Buggy the Clown, his crew members were no match for the monsters of the Buggy Pirates. I have to advise you, Kid, we are not strong enough to be called 4 emperors. Even if we were to become 4 emperors, it would only be a joke. Luo leaned against the wall of the cabin and said calmly, think about your crew members. They may die for your ideals. We are both supernovas from the same generation, why can this guy do it but I can't? Kid said, pointing at Luffy. Luo sighed. To be honest, it was a bit hurtful. Kid was the boss. Putting aside the difference in strength, you should understand just by looking at the straw hat on Luffy's head. At least if I challenge red-haired Shanks, I won't lose an arm. Hey, what do you mean by that look? The fact that we can beat Charlotte Linlin proves that the 4 emperors are just that good. Kid felt annoyed by Luo's look. Then you need to prepare more explosives, Luo said, and find another 4 emperor who is not very smart. Their eyes involuntarily turned to Luffy. Why are you looking at me? The title of 4 emperors is meaningless. My target is the king of pirates. Luffy's words stabbed Kid in the heart again. What he was pursuing so hard was not valued by others. He really wanted to use an electromagnetic cannon on Luffy. But thinking about this guy's strength, I decided to give up. Nami, can we still catch up? Buggy said he won't wait for us if we're slow. Luffy asked. Usopp's eyes suddenly sparkled. Nami spread out the sea chart. It's impossible at the current speed, unless Thousand Sunny goes at full speed. Then Jinbei will take the helm and Frankie will speed up. We must catch up. I also want to deal with Blackbeard. Luffy said. He looked at Kid and Luo. Do you still want to come together? Of course, wait a moment, I'll call Kira. Kid said quickly. The rest of the crew was of no help. I'll tell Babo and the others to move forward slowly. I'll follow you to Cake Island. Luo said. But why is Blackbeard on Cake Island? Luffy finally reacted. Of course we went to take advantage of the situation. Kid sneered, that was supposed to be the spoils after we defeated Charlotte Linlin. Luffy looked at Kid and said, you are no match for Katakuri. That guy is very powerful. Really, I'd like to see it for myself. It was rare for Kid to hear Luffy comment on someone's strength, only if he didn't die at the hands of Blackbeard. After a while, Thousand Sunny began to accelerate and flew towards the Cake Island. On the Baikutop, Buggy also waited for the big news Morgans. He landed on the boat, breathless, and threw a roll of newspaper to Buggy. I brought the latest newspaper with me. What do you want from me? Morgans asked. Buggy opened the newspaper and found that he already knew most of the news. There were news of the Revolutionary Army's successful uprising and occupation of 8 countries, news of the Blackbeard pirates' conquest of all nations, and news of Sabo becoming the Entei. Buggy already knew about the first 2 events. And finally this. The reputation of Mara fruit has made a big turnaround, getting rid of the title of devil fruit that even dogs won't eat, but the reputation of Ace has suffered. Mara fruit has a reason to say, who are you, Fire Fist Ace? Can you use my full strength? You can't use it. You don't have the ability, you know. Look at the current Entei, Sabo, he sounds more powerful than Fire Fist. Although Buggy didn't think Sabo was that strong. The news in your newspaper is too old, Buggy said with some disgust. Morgans explained, the world government's attacks on us are getting worse and worse. All the printing presses above ground have been destroyed. Now everything is printed in underground printing factories, and the quantity can't keep up. You think it's old, but I think it's too old. It seems that the last live broadcast had a great impact on you. Buggy thought that he hadn't received a newspaper for a long time, and this turned out to be the reason. It doesn't matter. As long as the news is big enough, I, Morgans, will spread it even at the risk of my life. This is the lifelong pursuit of a journalist. Morgans patted his chest. Wait, you didn't ask me to come here to make another big news, did you? Morgans reacted. Yes, I'm going to start a war with the Blackbeard pirates. Can you broadcast it live to the world? Buggy asked. This is a bit difficult to handle. Morgans was a little embarrassed. The fight between the 4 emperors can only be a newspaper headline, not worth broadcasting live. What if the 4 emperors gather together? Buggy pointed at the Red Hair Pirates ship. We'll have a righteous 3-on-1 fight. Morgans suddenly perked up. Of course. But it's impossible to broadcast it live to the whole world. The world is too chaotic right now. I can only do my best. Morgans, I can give a call to the Revolutionary Army's territory and let your news bird move in. Long, who was used to hiding his face with a black robe, spoke up. You can even move your printing house to the Revolutionary Army's territory, where you can print your newspapers as you wish. Dragon. Morgans saw Long's face clearly. Have you, the Revolutionary Army, formed an alliance with the pirates? Morgans remembered that there were Revolutionary Army members in the Buggy Pirates last time, which was big news. Well, not yet. The dragon said, I have some grudge against Blackbeard, and this time I'm here for revenge. That's enough. I'll arrange the live broadcast now. Morgans became excited. Chapter 72 The Most Outrageous Ship. We attach great importance to Blackbeard. Over the boundless ocean, a black pterosaur flew by at high speed. There is a figure sitting cross-legged on the back of the pterosaur. Both King Who turned into a pterosaur and Katakuri on his back felt very awkward. Did you sense anything, Katakuri? Asked Jin. There's no one nearby, Katakuri said. Do we have to fly all the way to Whitebeard's hometown? Jin complained. Don't tell me they don't want revenge anymore. No, the Whitebeard pirates have been dispersed. It will take time to regroup. The current situation of the Bigmom pirates is similar to that of the Whitebeard pirates, and Katakuri can understand it. Marco will never let go of such hatred. The two fell into silence again and the atmosphere became awkward. The reason why he got into this situation was that Buggy didn't leave Marco's contact information in order to show off. Now that the plan has been brought forward, we have no choice but to send Jin to inform them. But Buggy was afraid that Marco had already gone out to sea, so he asked Jin to take Katakuri with him. He was good at observation hockey and had a wider sensing range. So there was a journey where one deputy emperor carried another deputy emperor on his back to find another deputy emperor. Both of them are somewhat loners. King used to wear a hood all the time, and Katakuri also covered his mouth with a scarf. In addition, since they were in high positions, they only needed to maintain their dignity and were not good at socializing. It's a torture for two people like this to be together. Would you like to eat some glutinous rice balls? Katakuri could only find a topic to talk about. No, thank you, Jin thought to himself, who knows where you make your glutinous rice balls from. Katakuri could only push observation hockey to its limit, hoping to find the members of the Whitebeard pirates as soon as possible and end this embarrassing situation. As a result, when they were approaching Whitebeard's hometown, Katakuri discovered Marco's trace. An ordinary small boat with less than 10 officers from the Whitebeard pirates on board. The Whitebeard pirates, once the most powerful group among the four emperors, are now all that is left. Katakuri only recognized a few famous guys like Marco, Jose, and Flower Sword Vista, and basically didn't know the rest of the cadres. Seeing the combination of King and Katakuri, the Whitebeard pirates became alert and prepared for battle. We are from the Buggy Pirates, Jin said. We are not enemies. When did you join the Buggy Pirates? Marco asked in surprise. He had fought with Jin some time ago, but he didn't expect that Jin would become his ally in the blink of an eye. And what about Katakuri on his back? We'll talk about this later. The plan has changed. The Blackbeard pirates are now stationed on Cake Island, and Captain Buggy has already set off. Katakuri jumped off Jin's back, and Jin also turned into a human form and landed on the boat. Cake Island. Marco glanced at Katakuri and roughly guessed something. That's right, now Benko has become Blackbeard's territory. Katakuri said in a deep voice, but it's only temporary, he will pay the price soon. As for Cake Island, Marco looked at the dilapidated boat under his feet and said in embarrassment, this thing is not fast. I'm afraid I can't catch up. Have you, the Whitebeard pirates, become so poor? Jin was speechless. I have an idea. Jin thought of the pirates' Queen Hancock's ship, it can speed up the process. He spoke his thoughts out loud. That's fine with me, Marco said, I just feel sorry for you. It's much better than a man sitting on my back. Let's do it. Jin transformed into a pterosaur form. Quote. Katakuri did not speak. The awakened mochi fruit turned the part of the boat on the sea into hardened glutinous rice balls, strengthening the hull. At the same time, 2 glutinous rice ropes appeared. Seeing this, Marco also transformed into a phoenix and grabbed a rope. Add some armament hockey. I'm afraid it's not strong enough. Jin said, we need to get back as quickly as possible. Katakuri attached armament hockey to the rope, turning it into a black rope. Set off. Towed by the 2 royal deputies, the glutinous rice boat cut through the sea, stirred up waves of more than 10 meters, and sped away rapidly. This is the most outrageous ship I have ever been on in my life. Flower Sword Beasta exclaimed. Even the Moby DK wasn't that exaggerated. Have your Beasts Pirates and Bigmom Pirates groups been merged into the Buggy Pirates group? On the way, Marco also learned from Jin what had happened recently. It's really exaggerated. Do you want to join? Jin asked. Forget it, I just want to protect my dad's hometown now. Marco said. How do you guard it? Just sit in front of the tomb every day. I also do some work as a doctor, Marco explained. Being a doctor cannot change Whitebeard's hometown. Your so-called protection is nothing but wishful thinking. If you really want to do something for Whitebeard's hometown, why not join us and change the world? Jin said. Kaido once said that he wanted to change the world, and Jin believed that he was Joy Boy. But Kaido himself didn't believe it. Since receiving the prophecy, he has slowly transformed from a leader into a suicidal, alcoholic drunkard. Until Jin met Buggy and saw the changes in Wano-kuni. Don't wear the mask. Even if you tell the whole world that you are from the Lunalia tribe, you are from our Buggy Pirates. If the world government dares to cause trouble for you, then we'll just go to war. The man said casually. But where can I get the bounty if I report it? It feels like the world government is just writing a bad check. Otherwise, I could set up a shell company for pirates hunters. There are only Baileys floating on this sea. Kaido, you know what? Captain Buggy is really changing the world. Joy Boy is no longer important. Even if such a guy really exists, Captain Buggy wouldn't care. A truly strong person does not believe in fate. Jin, don't fly too fast, the boat is about to capsize. Katakori's voice interrupted Jin's thoughts. Marco was already trying his best to catch up. You can fly quite well in your pterosaur form. I'll consider what you said, but it's just my personal opinion. Before that, I want to see what Buggy wants to change the world into. You will soon find out. After the Blackbeard pirates are wiped out, there will only be one voice in this sea. Don't underestimate Blackbeard. He is the most patient guy the first have ever met. Marco warned. He felt a chill down his spine when he thought of Blackbeard. His cunning is beyond your imagination. Don't worry, our captain takes Blackbeard very seriously, even more than Blackbeard himself. Chapter 73. Face Fruit, Death Mark. With the strenuous pulling of Jin and Marco, the sticky rice boat successfully caught up with the Baikudorp. Seeing the red force next to him, Marco finally understood what Jin meant by importance. Hey, it's Marco. On the red force, Shanks spotted Marco and greeted him enthusiastically. Would you like to come to my ship? Actually, our goals are the same. Ah, sorry, I have an appointment with Captain Buggy. Marco said. Tisk, they're all like this, why are they all running over there? Shanks felt a little sad. Seeing the captain being rejected, there was a sudden joyful atmosphere on the red force. Shanks, you should give me some face, Beckman said. Yes, you have to activate the ability of the face fruit. Lackey Lu laughed. Buggy, that B******************* D, is making up rumors. There is no such thing as a face-saving fruit. Shanks was so angry that his teeth itched. You guys followed suit. You never know. There are all kinds of weird devil fruits, so it's not surprising to have a face fruit. Usopp said, I got on the boat without knowing what was going on. Did I get affected by your ability? When have you ever seen a demon fruit power that can swim? Shanks retorted. If the face fruit awakens, it should be able to affect the environment. Maybe the seawater will also give you face. Beckman pondered. Please give me some face and don't mention this matter again, okay? Shanks said helplessly. I really want to kill the guy who spread the rumor, but unfortunately I can't do it. There were bursts of laughter from the red force. After boarding the Baikudorp, Marco immediately saw Ivankov's big head, and then discovered the Revolutionary Army leader long beside him. Jin was right, Buggy really valued Blackbeard. This lineup is enough to attack the Marine headquarters. On the deck, there was a wanted poster of the Blackbeard pirates, which was covered with dense markings. The cleanest one is Aokiji's wanted poster, which has a question mark on it. The wanted poster for Captain Shiryu of ship number 2 has a black knife drawn on it. The wanted poster of Captain Katrine of ship number 6 was covered with densely marked symbols, including hearts, food, big-headed dolls, little dinosaurs, candles, iron bars, a unicycle with a cross through it, and a beast's paw print. What's going on? Jin remembered that these things didn't exist before he left. This must be another trick of the captain. They are selecting opponents. There are too many people, so there are not enough opponents. Buggy said, but these are not accurate, and the cadres from the Red Hair Pirates are not included. This is really so cool. Marco let out a long sigh, unable to hide his excitement. Almost every one of these guys had the blood of Whitebeard Pirates members on their hands, and Marco wished they would die immediately. Let me deal with him. My fruit ability can just restrain him. Marco left his mark, a little bird, on the wanted poster of the captain of ship number 9, Shinigami Poison Q. Joe's picked number 1 Skipper Giza's badges, who left a diamond mark. I know this guy. Even though he is the number 1 captain, he is just a waste. I can deal with him myself, said Joe's. Suddenly, several eyes were directed at him. Even if you are trash, you can't eat alone. Have you ever considered other people's feelings? Crocodile quietly erased his sandstorm mark and looked for another opponent. Just as Wajienbista was about to leave a mark on Shilu's wanted poster, he found Hawkeye standing next to the wanted poster with his arms folded, staring at him with eyes as sharp as an eagle. Isn't it true that you can't eat alone? Flower Sword Bista muttered to himself. But when you are on someone else's boat, you'd better be patient. He looked around and found that there were few marks on the wanted poster of Captain San Juan Wolf of ship number 7, only a mushroom mark. This guy is too tall, a 180-meter tall giant, 3 times taller than Little Laws. Who has the confidence to deal with him alone? Flower Sword Vista was about to add his own mark, but Buggy stopped him. Leave that guy to me. I like enemies of this size the most. Flower Sword Vista didn't expect that the mushroom was Buggy's mark. Who will deal with Blackbeard then? Of course it's me. San Juan Wolf can be dealt with easily. It won't take much time. Buggy said confidently. This kind of huge enemy that's like a wooden stake is very rare, so you can deal a lot of damage to it. There is nothing that a Lei Te Boy can't solve. If it doesn't work, then it's because the equivalent is not enough. Actually, I can do it too. Give me some time and I can grow to that level. Smoothie said weakly. She initially chose San Juan the Wolf as her opponent, but the captain snatched him away, saying that there were not enough crew members for her to absorb power from. Even when she offered to absorb the power of ordinary members of the Blackbeard Pirates, the captain refused due to time constraints. Just find a place to paddle. The captain's words hurt Smoothie's heart. One day, she would make the captain look up to her. Flower Sword Vista had no choice but to randomly choose a Lafitte and add his own mark on the back. Katakuri has his eyes on Van Oka, the sniper of the Blackbeard Pirates, and he thinks he can even deal with him without getting hurt. This time the power between the two sides has reversed. I want to let you know what cruelty is. Pizarro, the king of evil government. This nickname is very arrogant. I wonder what his strength is like. Jin ignored Ivory on the wanted poster and chose Pizarro as his opponent. Brother Jin. Jack was about to say something, but after being glared at by Jin, he quickly changed his words. I think Basquiat is not bad either. Sorry, Lackey Lou, let's change our opponent. I hope this guy is stronger. Marco looked at the densely packed symbols on the wanted poster and knew that these guys had basically been sentenced to death. This is without the involvement of the Red Hair Pirates. Has the Buggy Pirates' strength expanded to this extent? In fact, whether he and others came or not would not affect the overall situation, but Buggy still gave him a chance to take revenge. Marco's heart was filled with gratitude. Katakuri suddenly felt as if he was being watched, and after looking around, he found a small boat in the distance. This is Marine's ship. At this distance, the people on the boat should be able to spot it. I know. Don't worry about them, they are Marine's death squad. Buggy said. Buggy knew that his actions had irritated Marine's nerves, so he kept sending people to investigate. Those Marines who dared to come to check it out knowing that there were 2-4 Emperor's groups here were all determined to die. Even in an adversarial position, these people deserve respect. Besides, Marine is just doing useless work, and once the live broadcast starts, the whole world can see it. Time is running out for Blackbeard. Chapter 74. Passionate and Loud. New World, Marine Headquarters. The entire Marine Headquarters was shrouded in a solemn atmosphere, and all officers gathered together and stood by. In Marshal Marine's room, the table was filled with Den Den Mushi. From time to time, Den Den Mushi would report news from far away. C08 reports that Marco, the former captain of the 1st Squadron of the Whitebeard Pirates, has boarded the Baikudopu with Joes, Vista and 9 other officers. Also, they should have spotted me, but they didn't make any moves. Are you so confident? Those damn guys. Akainu punched the desk, which shook violently and scared the Den Den Mushi on it. Their eyes involuntarily looked in the same direction. Over there, a Den Den Mushi with an indifferent expression was looking ahead. For some reason, the Den Den Mushi sensed the aura of a powerful being from it. When will our Den Den Mushi clan rise up? Don't worry, Sakazuki, I don't think they're coming for us. Crane said, their direction is a little off. Whether it's aimed at us or not, I hate this feeling of sitting there and waiting to be killed. Akainu said viciously, when did Marine fall to this level? The Marine's strength has not changed, and has even become stronger. It's just that the pirates have changed. Originally, the 4 emperors did not interfere with each other, and some were even hostile to each other. Now that Buggy has become a 4 emperor, this situation has changed. Crane said as he carefully observed the chart. If the 4 emperors unite during the Summit War, the Marines will still be at a disadvantage. Kizaru imagined Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido, and Charlotte Linlin attacking Marineford together. That would be terrifying. The Marines' combat power is still insufficient. If the original idea could be realized, with 12 Marine admirals in charge, we could wipe out these pirates. Akainu remembered the top-secret plan he had seen. That will lead to a knife behind us. The world government will not allow the Marines to be so powerful. He glanced at Aramaki and said meaningfully, if the power is not controlled, in the eyes of some people, there is no difference between Marines and pirates. After Akainu became the Marine Marshal, Crane had already sensed something bad was going on. In the eyes of celestial dragons, Marines should first be their trained thugs, and only secondarily be an existence that maintains justice. But Akainu is not as tactful as Sengoku. He talks about justice all the time and is not liked by the 5 elders at all. Okay, I roughly understand what the Buggy Pirates are going to do. Crane drew a line on the sea chart. Their target is Wonguo. Marco, Katakuri, and Ryu, the one thing they all have in common is that they all have a grudge against the Blackbeard Pirates. Suru said, Buggy must have taken advantage of this to form the Pirates Alliance. That makes sense. I agree with Vice Admiral Suru's analysis. Looks like I can breathe a sigh of relief, Kizaru said. At this time, a voice came from the Den Den Mushi on the table, Marshal Sakazuki, there are unusual movements of news birds around the world. They have begun to use Den Den Mushi to forcibly insert the live broadcast signal. Live broadcast. Akainu was stunned for a moment. As Buggy addicted to live streaming, he said with a wry smile, this is the 3rd time. The only thing that could make the Morgans fight so hard was the Pirates Alliance that had just caused a stir in the Marine. But it is undeniable that Buggy's rise started from the live broadcast on Dingshang. Before that, Buggy was just a small pirate with a bounty of tens of millions, said Kizaru. It wasn't that he rose to prominence at that time, but that his ambitions were exposed at that time. If we hadn't accidentally discovered that he was a crew member of the Pirates King Roger, perhaps he was still plotting in the dark to subvert the world. Akainu said. Is there some misunderstanding here? Kizaru felt that Buggy's personality was a bit flamboyant, not like what Akainu thought. Borsellino, if I give you 2 years, can you develop such a powerful force from scratch? Akainu asked. No, Kizaru felt that even if he was given 20 years, he would still be alone. The thought of that kind of thing was troublesome. So Buggy must have planned this all along. If he hadn't been given the title of 4 emperors, he would have quietly developed his Buggy Express and gradually become the world's largest military dispatch company, which would have made it even more difficult to deal with him. Akainu was about to make Buggy's threat, but Den Den Mushi started to urge him on. Marshal Sakazuki, are we going to arrest those news birds? Don't do anything yet. Dark Horse, can you pick up their signal? Akainu asked. Of course, but don't we have to worry about those news birds? asked Dark Horse. It's impossible to control it. Even if we can't broadcast it live, the Morgans will send the newspaper to the world the next day. In that case, we might as well see what Buggy and the others are going to do. Akainu said. Okay, I'll do it right away, said the Black Horse. After a while, a projection appeared in Marshal Marine's office. An albatross was calling out inside. Please wait patiently for a moment. The big news that will shock the world is about to begin. This time, we will provide first-hand information from the scene. The camera turns to an island that looks like a multi-layered cake, with cream, candy, and donuts everywhere. All the buildings and tools are food. As this Morgan's guy mixed up with the pirates. Akainu found Morgans on the pirates' ship. Brule, what's the situation on Cake Island? Buggy's voice came from outside the screen. On the Baikutop, Buggy is communicating with Brule with a mirror. Captain, there are no longer any members of RBIGMOM pirates on Cake Island. They are all members of the Blackbeard pirates. Then there's no need to distinguish between friend and foe. This time we can catch them all in one fell swoop, leaving no one alive, said Buggy. On Cake Island, the party was still going on, and Aokiji, who was alone, suddenly shuddered. Ha 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 ha, what's wrong, Kuzan? You don't seem to like the atmosphere here. Blackbeard laughed wildly. You may not believe it, Kuzan didn't expect Blackbeard to be paying attention to his every move. This guy is a little too energetic. Kuzan was about to explain when a Blackbeard crew member ran up with a Dendan Mushi in his arms. Captain, the Dendan Mushi sent a live broadcast, and the content of the live broadcast is exactly our Cake Island. What? Blackbeard stood up. Open it and take a look. Dendan Mushi turned on the projection, which showed the scene of Cake Island, and a voice was heard. We have arrived at our destination. First of all, we would like to say hello warmly. Children, please protect your eyes. Fission 15,000 tons Lei Te Boy. A black bullet flew into the air above Cake Island, and then the members of the Blackbeard pirates seemed to see a second sun appear in the sky. Cake Island suddenly became extremely passionate and loud, even to the point where the whole world was aware of the noise. Chapter 75 The Strongest Pirates in History. A mushroom cloud rose over Cake Island. Captain, how can you use your ultimate skill right at the start? Crocodile looked at the slowly rising mushroom cloud. There were few enemies to begin with. You don't understand. If you lose a team fight, your teammates won't ping you. Buggy said. What? Crocodile didn't understand. Nothing. Why do you think this is my ultimate move? A shot of Little Boy only consumes some hair, and the Chop Chop fruit ability only consumes a little bit at the beginning, and then the fission will proceed automatically, and Buggy cannot control it even if he wants to. As for the skill consumption problem, it has been solved thanks to Buggy's efforts. As long as the cells divide quickly, hair will grow quickly. If Chop Chop fruit can even restore life, how can it not be done? This is not the Mara Mara fruit that even dogs would not eat. As long as Buggy wants, he can treat the Little Boy as a firework. The only drawback of this move is that it cannot distinguish between friend and foe, but it is still very useful for clearing out miscellaneous soldiers before a battle. I'm afraid you'll sink the Cake Island, and then it will be difficult to find the enemy. Crocodile said. The Buggy Pirates are different from the Red Hair Pirates. Most of them are people with special abilities and cannot go into the sea. I deliberately detonated it in midair. It will only create a suitable battlefield. This small explosion will not affect Cake Island. Moreover, although this small yield explosion can cause great damage to ordinary people, it is not enough to deal with some strong people. Is this just a small explosion? What does a big explosion look like? The dragon summoned a strong wind to blow away the smoke and dust on Cake Island. The explosion eliminated some of Cake Island, revealing the tall figure of San Juan Wolf. Below him was a barrier made of thick ice crystals, inside which were the cadres of the Blackbeard pirates. Aokiji did not include San Juan Wolf in the protected area, and without the assistance of seawater, he could not create huge amounts of ice crystals. San Juan Wolf's skin turned red and ulcerated due to the high temperature, and he howled in pain. Without a direct hit, is the lethality still insufficient? Buggy casually made a second bullet. San Juan the wolf discovered something was wrong and endured the severe pain in his body, preparing to escape into the sea. But the second little boy hit him at an extremely fast speed, allowing him to complete the achievement of catching a nuclear bomb in the face. As the second mushroom cloud rose, San Juan the wolf's body fell heavily down. Aokiji immediately put away the ice crystal barrier and dodged outside. UB ***************, said Giza's badgers. Say something. The Blackbeard pirates' officers fled in all directions, avoiding the blows from San Juan Wolf. Anything else? Long asked. No need, he probably won't survive, just blow away the smoke and dust. Buggy said. A translucent shadow of a giant western dragon vaguely appeared behind the dragon, and its wings stirred up a strong wind, blowing away the smoke and dust on the Cake Island for the second time, revealing the Cake Island that looked like purgatory. Ah, it feels like Sakazuki has had some fun here. Aokiji touched his head. Captain Blackbeard, who did you offend? Damn it. Blackbeard found that only bones were left of San Juan Wolf's head, and it was obvious that he was dead. Who is it? Captain. Van Oka looked into the distance. That seems to be the Baikudoku of the Buggy Pirates. Buggy the clown. I haven't even bothered him yet, but he comes to me on his own. Blackbeard clenched his fists and a white ball appeared, causing the air to vibrate. I'm going to tear him into pieces. Most of the ordinary members of the Blackbeard pirates died in the explosion. It doesn't matter. They are consumables and we can recruit more if we kill them. The key point is that a large pile of Baileys turned into ashes, which made Blackbeard very distressed. And the Red Hair Pirates' Red Force. Van Oka added. What? Say it again. Blackbeard seemed to have heard something incredible. On the opposite side are the Buggy Pirates and the Red Hair Pirates. Captain, it seems we are being besieged by 2 Four Emperors. Van Oka said. Ah la la la, this is not good news, said Aokiji. It seems that today will not end peacefully. Shiryu drew out his famous sword, Thunderstorm. The blade flashed with red blood light, reflecting his face. What should we do, Captain? Should we evacuate? Asked the evil King Pizarro. Although he was confident in the strength of the Blackbeard pirates, they were facing 2 Four Emperors. Let's wait and see. If we encounter an attack like the one just now on the ship, we will be in danger of falling into the sea. Blackbeard said. It's just Buggy the Clown and red-haired Shanks. He has the strongest dark fruit and shock fruit, so he won't necessarily lose. Get ready to fight. We will destroy them here. We are the strongest pirates. Blackbeard encouraged the crew. Ha 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 ha, I'll smash them with my fists. As Blackbeard's most loyal bootlicker, Giza's Badges was the first to respond to Blackbeard's call. Aokiji watched this scene quietly. An unexpected change occurred and his plan was disrupted. Morgans was guest hosting the live broadcast. Did you see that? The power is incredible. Cake Island has been razed to the ground. But this is just the appetizer. What's next is the most exciting battle of the 4 Emperors, which is unique in history. It's finally started. I've been waiting for a long time. Rayleigh was watching the live broadcast in the blackmail bar in Sabayati Archipelago. You mean Little Buggy and Little Shanks teamed up? Shaki asked. Yes, originally 3 of the 4 Emperors were Rock's pirates, and now it's the turn of our Roger pirates. Rayleigh laughed. Although they are from the same pirates group, only Linlin and Kaido are close. Whitebeard is not the same kind of person as them. Instead, he is closer to Roger pirates. Shaki recalled the past. The downfall of Rock's pirate was partly due to the fact that his subordinates were too strong, and even Rock's couldn't control them. Given Rock's personality, he doesn't want to be restrained. He just wants his subordinates to make a mess. Rayleigh also experienced the Battle of God Valley and knew the character of that madman very well. No matter what, there won't be another pirates group as ridiculously strong as Rock's pirate. Shaki was stunned as he spoke. On the live broadcast screen, Morgans was trying his best to introduce himself. What you see now is the new 4 Emperors Buggy and his. Morgans rubbed his eyes, not counting the number of Buggy Pirates officers, and his large number of officers. Even through the screen, Shaki could feel the oppression. What kind of monster pirates is this? Chapter 76. Cheap Dreams, Mystique Fruit. In the Marine headquarters, Akainu looked at the scene with a grim face. Crane looked at Kizaru strangely. I thought you would yell out in fear, but I didn't expect you to be so calm this time. Those were just jokes, but this time it's serious. Kizaru said, if you get entangled with this pirates group, you can retire on the spot. How did Buggy the Clown recruit these people? Akainu still couldn't figure it out. Marine and Blackbeard have worked together beautifully on this matter. Crane sighed helplessly. I mentioned to you before that the Shichibukai system is indeed inappropriate in some aspects, but it can't be a one-size-fits-all approach. Suru couldn't figure out why villains like Doflamingo weren't fit to be Shichibukai, and what the point was in keeping pirates like Hawkeye and Hancock around. Of course, Blackbeard is a little more foolish. He seemed to be expanding his territory aggressively, but he made enemies all over the world. Now the backlash is coming. In the live broadcast, Buggy and a group of people landed on Cake Island. Blackbeard looked at the scale of the enemy and opened his mouth, wanting to say something but unable to speak. Aren't there supposed to be only 5 Shichibukai in the Buggy Pirates group? Why are there so many more cadres? What the hell are Phoenix Marco, Flame Disaster Jinx, and Katakuri? Ha 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 ha, isn't this Brother Buggy? Is there some misunderstanding between us? Blackbeard forced a smile. There's no misunderstanding. I just came here to kill you. Buggy said. Why? There shouldn't be any hatred between us. Blackbeard said dryly. Of course I did. We had a fight when we were kids. Have you forgotten? Buggy pointed to his cheek. You left me a wound here. I'm a petty person. I decided at that time that I would kill you sooner or later. But you knocked out my teeth too. Blackbeard pointed at his uneven teeth and said, my injuries are more serious. What does it matter to me whether you are seriously injured or not? Buggy said strangely, anyway, I will die if you hurt me. Blackbeard wanted to say something, but Lafitte sighed, Captain, stop it. He's just making fun of you. Blackbeard knew, of course, but he couldn't think of any other solution right now. Wait, I have an idea. Captain Buggy, my Blackbeard pirates can be merged into your pirates. With our combined strength, it would be easy for us to take over the entire world. As long as you can survive, there are endless possibilities. This is Blackbeard's way of life. My pirates group doesn't accept bad people, especially those as rotten as you. Buggy said disdainfully. Your only shining moment was saying, people's dreams will never end. But you bet your dream on a devil fruit, how ridiculous. Buggy remembered that Blackbeard joined the Whitebeard pirates in order to find the dark fruit, and if he couldn't find it in his lifetime, he planned to stay in the Whitebeard pirates forever. What do you know? You don't understand the power of the dark fruit. This is the strongest devil fruit in the world. Blackbeard's hands turned black and black smoke came out of his body. I already sincerely want to surrender to you, why do you still force me? You are used to betrayal. Only a fool would believe you to surrender. Buggy taunted. Then die, Darkwater. Blackbeard was about to perform his move when a voice sounded behind him. Awakening Ice Age. Endless coldness came from behind Blackbeard, and the entire Cake Island and the nearby sea were frozen. Kuzan, what are you doing? Blackbeard felt something was wrong. Ah, Blackbeard, I said before that I joined you just for the pursuit of power. I thought you were the strongest pirates group, but now it seems that you are not. Aokiji's figure has merged into the ice crystals on the island, and only his voice can be heard coming from all directions. In that case, of course I chose to betray. I learned this from you, Captain Blackbeard. The plan was messed up, and there was no point in fighting the Buggy pirates here. Aokiji's target was Blackbeard from the beginning. You damn B************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* The evil King Pizarro and the Black Moon Hunter Catherine looked at each other and said together, we also. You're never going to stop betraying me, are you? Crocodile pressed his hand to the ground, crazy sand arena. Wherever Crocodile touched, it turned into sand instantly, and the range expanded rapidly, and finally the sand formed a series of arenas. Like the captain said, we in the Buggy Pirates don't accept bad people. You guys, just go on your way with peace of mind. Crocodile lit a cigar and began looking for his opponent. Is it a one-on-one duel? Seeing the arena, Luffy held out a glimmer of hope. No, that's so unfair. Crocodile blew out a smoke ring. Why, isn't a one-on-one fight the fairest? Luffy couldn't understand. Look at all of us. If we don't even have a chance to shoot in the end, isn't that very unfair? Crocodile said, we have to take care of everyone and give them a chance to shoot. Luffy admired Crocodile a little bit, as he could make such shameless words sound so righteous. He calculated the chances of escape and found that it would be difficult to escape even if he flew with wings. The opposing Marco and Jin both have the ability to fly. Fight hard. At least don't let the enemy underestimate us at the last moment. Luffy pulled out the sword from his cane and pointed it at Crocodile. Are you my opponent? It's me. I chose you. Flower Sword Vista hurried forward. You are also a swordsman. Smoothie's eyes lit up when he saw Luffy take out his cane sword. He's a good opponent. Miss Smoothie, the women's battlefield should be over there. Flower Sword Vista quickly pointed in the direction of the Zanyu hunter Katrine. There are too many people over there. Smoothie was stunned when he saw that side. Nearly dozens of people surrounded Katrine and began to place a large amount of fruit next to the ring. Catherine watched this scene with a grim face, and she understood what this group of people meant. The Blackbeard pirates did the same thing, killing people to take away the devil fruit abilities. I just didn't expect that it would be my turn today. But why are there fruits only here and not in other arenas? Okay, this is the mystique fruit user chosen by the captain. We must do our best to seize this devil fruit. Mr. 3 said. I am a zone, a mythical beast, the user of the dog fruit, the nine-tails fox form, not a user of the mystique fruit. Catherine didn't expect that the enemy didn't even know what her devil fruit was. Ah, it doesn't matter what it is. Anyway, the captain said he can't let you go, so let's go. Chapter 77. The Runaway Empress, Conquerors Driven by Emotion. You guys. Catalina looked at the double-digit enemies around her and secretly thought of a way to escape. It's a pity that there are so many beauties here. I really want to cut off their heads. But having more people is a good thing, as siege is ineffective against me. Who should be the first target? Katarina looked at the pirate's Queen Hancock. Pink smoke suddenly came out from her hands, covering the entire arena. The smoke cleared and two Hancocks appeared in front of everyone. You never imagined it. My transformation ability is perfect. Not only my appearance, but even my clothes can become exactly the same, and I can also disguise the opponent's devil fruit ability, so you can't besiege me. Catalina watched Hancock's actions and tried to imitate her next behavior, but found that Hancock was shaking constantly. What's wrong? Are you scared? This is the first time I've been so angry. Hancock's eyes turned red. You ugly old woman, you dare to become a concubine. In Hancock's opinion, it was a great insult that Katarina was old and ugly, but she disguised herself as him, leaving an indelible stain on her perfect image. The strings of her sanity snapped. My beauty is unique, go to hell. Conqueror's hockey exploded and wrapped around Hancock's legs, shining with black and red electric light. In a state of extreme anger, she directly comprehended Conqueror's entanglement. Katarina was stunned. Her fruit ability couldn't imitate Conqueror's hockey. But the irrational Hancock had already attacked. Catalina hurriedly blocked her kick, but was shocked by her domineering power and almost vomited blood. She wanted to distance herself and change her appearance, but Hancock didn't give her the chance. Old woman, go to hell. She completely gave up the power of the sweet fruit and fought the enemy purely with the power of hockey. The key is that when losing his mind, Conqueror's hockey is generated continuously, as if there is no limit. Smoothie strolled here and couldn't help but be amazed when he saw this scene. She used to look down on the Shichibukai, but now it seems that Hancock is really strong. How bold is Conqueror's hockey of this level? There's no way to intervene. Bonnie looked at Hancock, who had lost his mind. If he went up to him, Hancock would probably treat him as an enemy and attack him. I'm sorry, Boa Sandersonia said. My sister's self-esteem is too strong, so she is a little arrogant and narcissistic. In terms of beauty, she thinks she is unique. Especially since the opponent looks a bit unsightly. Boa Marigold said tactfully, this makes me even angrier. My anger won't subside until I defeat my opponent. Can one become stronger if one's self-esteem is too strong? Bonnie was a little excited when he saw Hancock attacking his opponent crazily. Can I do the same? But when she tried, she found that it was impossible. She was just a normal person and could not hypnosis herself. This level of arrogance can be considered a talent, Bonnie sighed. Just then a news bird flew over and pointed its camera phone moody in this direction. Beautiful women fighting is much more interesting than other things. It's Conqueror's entanglement. Shaki saw this scene in the blackmail bar. Now the young generation of strong people are getting more and more exaggerated. But she turned around and found Rayleigh staring at the screen, so she punched him directly. Do young girls have nice legs? What are you thinking? Rayleigh said, covering her head. I just found something interesting. He had been on Daughter Island for some time and had some understanding of Hancock. Oh, what's so interesting about that? Shaki narrowed his eyes. If you can't tell it, I'll give this old guy a good beating sooner or later. Conqueror's hockey is different from other hockey. It is driven by spirit. The greater the spirit, the stronger the Conqueror's hockey. In other words, Conqueror's hockey is actually a spiritual power. Rayleigh pointed at the screen and said, but Hancock is different. She took another path. She didn't have strong ambitions, but she took her beauty as the core and strengthened this belief. In the nutshell of beauty, she is the king of the world. If she is angered in this realm, as she is now, extreme arrogance triggers a violent rage, providing an endless supply of Conqueror's hockey. Even the power of emotion seeps into the hockey. Rayleigh pointed at the increasingly bright black and red electric light. Her opponent must be feeling bad right now. It sounds ridiculous. Does that mean that as long as I deceive myself into thinking I'm the king of the world, I'll have endless power? Shaki was a little unconvinced. You said it was a lie, so what's the point? Hancock firmly believes in his heart that he is the most beautiful in the world. Rayleigh laughed. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Strong qualifications and a paranoid and arrogant mentality can create such a monster. Of course, there are also shortcomings. As long as you don't provoke her in terms of beauty, there will be no problem at all. Katarina is indeed feeling very uncomfortable now. Her opponent has been using the tyrant technique to attack her. Not only are the attacks getting stronger and stronger, they even make her have hallucinations. She felt as if she were trapped in the flames of hell, and Hancock was sitting on a throne high above her, looking down at her. Die, ugly thing. It's just a change in her appearance. Why such a big reaction? Is this woman crazy? Katarina cancelled her transformation and returned to her original appearance to see if this would be any better. Unexpectedly, Hancock became even angrier when he saw her original appearance. You are so ugly, and you dare to turn into my appearance. This is simply unforgivable. The black and red electric light seemed to be ignited by anger and turned into a burning black flame with even greater momentum. That's enough. I'll show you the power of the zone, the mythical beast, the dog fruit, and the nine-tails fox form. Catalina couldn't help it. Her face stretched into the shape of a fox, and nine tails grew behind her, with pale flames burning above each tail. Foxfire, Shiranui fire, and flame wrap. The pale flames formed a fire tornado and burned towards Hancock. But Hancock, carrying the Overlord fire, kicked the fire tornado away. Conqueror's hockey plus armament hockey are too strong a restraint on fruit abilities. Mr. 3, do you feel that there are more and more people in the new world who can use fire abilities? Why don't you also study fire abilities? Cabbage looked at the candlelight above Mr. 3's head. That makes sense. Maybe one day I'll be able to create a flame by waving my hand. Mr. 3 was somewhat tempted. The zone fruit can use fire, so the Paramecia fruit can't be left behind. Katarina finally despaired. How could she defeat an enemy with infinite hockey? Tisk, It seems like this trip is in vain. Runty said. She could see that Catalina was in a state of confusion and it was only a matter of time before she was defeated. What other opponents can we choose? The opponent was not found, but reinforcements arrived. The Red Hair Pirates came over in a mighty force. Chapter 78 The Sniper's Natural Enemy, the Depressed Kid. Boss, I told you to come quickly, but you had to pay attention to your image and walk over slowly. Lucky Lu looked at the battlefield that was divided into several pieces and found that there were people everywhere. This is a live broadcast. Of course, the boss has to pay attention to his image. What if he loses face? Usopp looked around, looking for the sniper from the Blackbeard Pirates. When he found Van Oka, he discovered that he was being chased and beaten by Katakuri. Van Oka actually encountered the most difficult enemy. Usopp sighed, what a pity. That's right. Katakuri completely restrains him. That guy is simply the natural enemy of all snipers. Shanks observed and saw that Katakuri did not dodge Van Oka's attack. His body only turned into a hole to allow the bullet to penetrate when the bullet was a few centimeters in front of him. He seemed calm and unhurried. Katakuri simply approached Van Oka step by step, which put him under infinite pressure. Is this fate? Van Oka said with a wry smile. I didn't expect that fate would play tricks on me in the end. When an enemy's observation haki is strong enough to predict the trajectory of bullets, what can a sniper do? Whether you use haki-wrapped bullets or seastone bullets, it is useless if you can't hit the enemy. I almost want to help Van Oka. Seeing Van Oka, who is also a sniper, fall into this state, Usopp felt a little sad. I forgot that you and Van Oka have some friendship. Can you two defeat Katakuri? Shanks asked with interest. Unless the bullet speed exceeds his reaction limit, there is no chance of winning. Usopp shook his head. And it must be shot from outside the sensing range of Katakuri's observation haki. Van Oka also noticed Usopp's arrival. He suddenly ignored Katakuri's approach, raised his favorite gun, Senraku, and aimed at Usopp, a smile flashing across his embarrassed face. Usopp immediately understood what he meant and raised the spear in his hand. 2 gunshots were heard, Usopp's shoulder was pierced by a bullet, and Van Oka was shot in the middle of the eyebrow and fell to the ground. Thank fate, I didn't die so miserably in the end. The captain and sniper of the Blackbeard Pirates ship No. 3, Otokoshi, Van Oka, was killed. Katakuri glanced over here, and Usopp quickly explained, he has already decided to die, I just gave him a decent death. Katakuri said nothing and walked away silently. I wanted to let Usopp see a showdown between top snipers, but now it's no longer possible. Usopp didn't care about the wound on his shoulder. Instead, he was annoyed that he couldn't show his strength in front of his son. It seems that snipers have their limits. Come learn to cook from me, Usopp. It's not too late for you to change your career and become a chef. Lucky Lu laughed. There's only one guy like Katakuri who has mastered observation haki to ultimate, otherwise I really have to change my career. Usopp said. As expected of the Charlotte family's masterpiece, Barry's bounty of 1.057 billion is a bit too little. Shanks said, give him a few more years, and he can grow to the level of the 4 emperors. That guy with the same hair color as you has a bounty of 3 billion. The world government is really funny. Beckman thinks Kid should not be a match for Katakuri. How come such talented people have ended up in the Buggy Pirates? Shanks felt sour again. I'll go over there and take a look. You guys can go have fun on your own. Come on, Blackbeard, teach that guy a lesson, or he'll get too big for his boots. The key is where to go. Lucky Lu looked around and found Jack's trace. Goodbye, I'm going to go find my brother Jack. You fat guy, at least help me heal. Usopp tore a piece of cloth to cover the wound, but Usopp and the others are so slow, I hope the fight here will be over by the time they get here. Usopp looked into the distance. On the sea, Thousand Sunny is breaking through the waves. In the cabin, the projector Den Den Mushi that Luo took out was broadcasting live the situation on Cake Island. I don't know if it's too late. Usopp became the most anxious person at this time. The war between the 4 emperors was an experience that could be written down in a diary, so how could I miss it? Besides, Usopp has been at sea for so many years, and he has never fought such a rich battle. Just by looking at those allies, Usopp knew that he would definitely win this time. He only needed to go up and shoot a few slingshots to become a participant in the Battle of the Four Emperors. I'll go to the power room to urge Frankie. Usopp felt that Thousand Sunny could be even faster. It's rare that Usopp is so active. Sawtooth man, why are you so listless? Luffy asked. Because of that damn Buggy. When Kid first learned that Buggy had started the World Live broadcast, he was very happy. It is a rare opportunity to show your strength in front of the world and obtain the title of Four Emperors. Two happy things overlapped, and these two joys can bring more joy. What we got should have been a happy time like a dream. But why did it turn out like this? Why did Buggy the Clown call so many people? The Battle of the Four Emperors turned out to be 3 against 1. They don't even care about their dignity anymore. Even if we get there, what can we do? The Four Emperors' leaders are beating each other up like trash. Unless he could kill Blackbeard with one shot, no one would notice him. Buggy the Clown, you destroyed my dream. I thought I was the protagonist, but ended up being just one of many supporting roles, and even a supporting role behind dozens of others. This is probably how Kid felt when he was in charge. Luo said with some sarcasm. I'm going to go out for some fresh air. Kid got up and left the cabin, not wanting to watch the live broadcast anymore. Hey, if you want to be the protagonist, you can challenge others. Luffy was covered by Law before he could finish his words. Stop provoking him. Law was a little helpless. Luffy was really a little stupid about some things. How did Kid lose his arm? Do you really think red-haired Shanks and Clown Buggy are good-tempered people? Just look at the miserable plight of the Blackbeard pirates. If I challenge him again, the next person I'll see will be a robot kid. It seems to be somewhat interesting. Okay, I was planning to show off my skills. My Gear 5 will definitely give Shanks a surprise. Luffy actually felt a little regretful. But Blackbeard should be able to hold on for a while longer, maybe he can catch up. Of course, the Blackbeard pirates still have a few good players. Luo said. But with so many people watching during the fight, I hope they have strong enough mental qualities. Chapter 79. Remember to finish off the enemy. Important things should be said 3 times. Guard the Fire Dragon King. A giant fire dragon descended from the sky, and its head bit the evil King Pizarro. Super heavy desert diamond sword. The black sand turned into a sharp weapon and cut towards the waist of the evil King Pizarro. The evil King Pizarro weighed the pros and cons briefly and chose to take on the attack from the defending Fire Dragon King. He adjusted the mechanical glove on his arm, and the armament hockey covered it. Steam gushed out of the mechanical glove. Sky blast. Do you look down on me? Crocodile's face was gloomy. The enemy actually ignored his attack. The black sand knife cut a big hole in the waist of the King of Evil Government. Erosion reincarnation. The sand knife broke into black sand and began to absorb the moisture in the body of the evil king. The skin near the wound suddenly dried up and cracked. The evil king screamed in pain and turned to attack Crocodile, Overlord Fist. Sand gushed out on the ground and turned into walls to block the attack of the King of Evil. There were also patterns of evil spirits carved on the walls, causing the onlookers to exclaim in surprise. How cool! This looks amazing. Captain Crocodile's control over sand is really strong. Do these evil spirits have any special abilities? It's just cooler. It's actually no different from a normal wall. Old Sand, your fruit ability has been developed very well. Why don't you work on your artistry? Maybe you can become a sand sculpture artist in the future. Crocodile followed someone's advice, and now the feedback seems to be good. The evil king was also stunned when he saw the evil ghost pattern, but it easily penetrated more than 10 layers of walls. Are you bluffing? But the broken walls turned into sand again and formed into evil spirits, which pounced on the King of Evil. Desert Hell. 100 Demons Martial Arts. What fancy things, the King of Evil Government roared, watch me smash them to pieces. But a dark shadow fell from the sky, Flying Dragon Emperor Extreme. The giant samurai sword slashed across the body of the evil king, and the evil king, who was unable to dodge, had one of his arms chopped off. You are the first guy who dares to turn your back on me. The flames behind Jin had completely disappeared and were all transformed into attack power. I beep, you too beep. The evil king finally couldn't bear it anymore and started cursing. Not only were they not allowed to surrender, but they were also attacked by the viceroy and the Shichibukai. Did they think they are the four emperors? Since it was still live, Newsbird quickly muted the sound. They collapsed after just two of them. Their mental strength is not even as good as Katarina over there. She's still holding on. It's different, right? Even though there are many people over there, only Captain Hancock is attacking. It's different here. I feel Pizarro has done his best. It's not easy to hold on until now. There's nothing we can do. These two won't give in to each other and neither of them wants to back out. We have no choice but to fight together. It's boring here, let's go somewhere else. A group of onlookers quickly evacuated to look for the next battlefield. The evil King Pizarro sat down on the ground dejectedly and said, "Let's do it." Tired, destroy it, quickly. Come on. Jin put away his sword. There was no point in killing an enemy who didn't resist. Why me? Crocodile didn't want to do anything because he was still live streaming. It was too cheap. The evil king's eyes suddenly lit up. Then I vote. No, Captain Buggy said you must die. The two said in unison. Don't bully people like this. The king of evil government slammed his fist into his heart, leaving behind his last words, I beep, you. There's nothing good to film here, go somewhere else. Crocodile drove the news bird away. After the news bird left, the flames and quicksand together destroyed the body of the king of evil. The first rule of the Buggy Pirates battle manual is that if you are not sure that the enemy is 100% dead, you must remember to finish off the enemy. And the first three are all this. How brutal. A member of the Red Hair Pirates happened to see this scene. They didn't even spare the dead. A horribly cautious guy, Beckman said. What should we do? We thought we could have a good fight, but it turned out like this. Usopp looked around and saw that only a few fields were still fighting. Diamond Joe's is in the middle of a passionate brawl with Giza's Badgers. Badgers' strength is just so-so, but he somehow became the #1 captain of the Blackbeard Pirates. The place where Rain Shiryu, the real strongman of the Blackbeard Pirates, is located is covered by a huge black cube, and the sound of swords clashing can be heard from time to time. It should be Hawkeye and Shilu fighting, and Moria is standing outside with a sneer. The black cube should be his masterpiece. Jack and Lucky Lou were fighting against Basque Chote nicknamed Big Wine, and it looked very lively, but Usopp knew that Lucky Lou was just fooling around. That guy's strength is also ranked among the best among the Red Hair Pirates. Marco of the Whitebeard Pirates is fighting the Blackbeard Pirates medic, Shinigami, Hugh, Toxic. This is the only fight that no one is watching. The venue was surrounded by poisonous fog, but Marco didn't care at all. The poison Q, who originally looked terminally ill and dying, had dismounted and was running faster than a normal person. The tall white horse had fallen to the ground, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. The only one who can intervene now is Laffitte's side. Let's go and take a look over there, said Beckman. He found that there seemed to be something wrong with the flower sword Vista who was fighting against Lafitte. The Red Hair Pirates came to Lafitte in a mighty force. Don't interfere, this is my fight. Flower Sword Vista said loudly. He was wielding two swords and engaging in a fierce battle with Lafitte. Where are your petals, Vista? Beckman asked. Vista was silent for a moment. In between attacks, he swung his robe violently, and some rose petals fell out of it. It's too stiff. Vista became famous for this and he made it perfect. Yours is too obvious. Beckman saw the flaw at a glance. I heard that Devil Sheriff Lafitte is good at hypnosis. It seems that Vista has been infected. As expected of Beckman, you spotted every flaw in me. Lafitte sighed. Vista had stopped attacking and stood still. Bad luck, I met a showy guy. Lafitte can use hypnosis Vista to simply attack himself, but he cannot complete very complex commands. He saw Beckman had pointed a gun at him and knew his life was on the countdown. Almost all the Red Hair Pirates were here, and no matter how smart he was, he couldn't find a way to escape. I didn't expect that I would die at the hands of you hypocrites today. Luffy put the sword into his cane. Oh, why do you say that? Beckman asked. Are you still pirates? The only one who truly practices the pirate way is Captain Blackbeard. He uses violence to terrify the world. What about you? Under the banner of pirates, they don't do their job. Luffy wanted to say something, but Beckman's gun went off. Well said, but it's meaningless. Chapter 80, Shuten Doji, the Mammoth Spoon. Luffy's body fell to the ground. Flower Sword Beast woke up as if from a dream, and it took him a while to understand what had happened. I was actually given hypnosis by the enemy. Ha, we're being mocked by the enemy. Aren't we like pirates? Usopp laughed. If I like to sail freely on the sea, I can't be a pirate. The winner decides everything, and the loser's words are meaningless. Beckman said, let's go and look somewhere else. At this time, a roar was heard from another arena, and the body of Big Wine, Basque-Chote suddenly grew larger and turned into a red-skinned evil ghost over 20 meters tall. Wow, what kind of fruit ability is this? It looks like a mythical beast. Lackey Lou's voice came from the other side. Hiccup, human fruit mythical beast Shuten Doji form. The wine gourd became like a toy in Basque-Jot's hand, but he still drank the wine in it. I will eat you alive. Who do you think we are? Jack turned into a mammoth and rushed forward. Hiccup. Devil, big flame burst. Basque-Chote opened his mouth and spit out a large flame, burning towards Jack. But the next moment, Lackey Lou's figure suddenly appeared above him, and his fat body hit him on the head, interrupting Basque's fire breathing. Mammoth flips the spoon. Jack roared and knocked Basque to the ground with his tusks. Isn't this just an ordinary charge? Lackey Lou was speechless. You even gave it a special name. This is the name Captain Buggy gave me. Jack said, if you underestimate the mad mammoth, you will pay the price. Captain Buggy once said that as long as people practice diligently, sooner or later the mammoth flipping spoon will become an unforgettable nightmare for many people. Ah, as long as you are happy. Lackey Lou had heard that some insidious guys deliberately did not say the name of the moves and used them as ordinary attacks to confuse others. This was the first time he saw ordinary attacks being used as moves. The Blackbeard pirates have quite a lot of mythical beasts. There's a nine-tails fox, and now there's Shuten Doji. Usopp exclaimed when he saw this scene from a distance. He has gathered so many experts in such a short time, he is quite capable. Beckman suddenly thought of something, pulled out his pistol and shot at Luffy's body. Luffy, who was originally lying on the ground, jumped up, white wings grew on his back, and flew in the air. Playing dead. Is this guy the user of the bird fruit? Usopp raised his gun. People with this kind of ability are snipers' favorites. No, his wings are on his back. The wings of the user of the bird fruit are transformed from his arms. Said Beckman. You are just as you say, Beckman. My disguise should be perfect. Why did you find out? Luffy said. Intuition, Beckman said. Except for Giza's Badgers, who seems to be a real waste, the other members of the Blackbeard pirates are not that simple. Luffy was just shot dead, which now seems a bit too easy. He just tried it, and it turned out that Luffy was really pretending to be dead. Last hitting is a good habit. Talk to Shanks about it when you have time so that Red Hair Pirates can learn it. Luffy looked around and found that the commotion here had alarmed other places, especially Jin, who was staring at this side. Intuition. What a scary guy. Luffy's appearance changed. His originally pale face turned red, his nose stretched out, and he drew out his sword and slashed towards Beckman. Another mythical beast. Beckman didn't move, and Lime Jones on the side drew his sword to block the attack. Zone bird fruit mythical beast Tengu form. Luffy said. He flapped his wings, and several tornadoes formed, attacking the Red Hair Pirates, and then he quickly flew backwards. But after 2 gunshots, Luffy felt a sharp pain in his wings, which had been pierced by bullets. Then a strong man threw a monkey at him. He swung his sword, but the monkey used armament hockey to block the sword. Then its tail wrapped around his arm, swung to his back, grabbed his wings and started tearing them apart. You beast! Luffy didn't expect the monkey to be so agile. Mengshita is a cadre of our Red Hair Pirates. Don't underestimate him. The strong man bank punch jumped into the air and knocked Luffy down with a punch. When Luffy came to his senses, he was surrounded by the Red Hair Pirates cadres. 9 cadres are besieging me, is it that serious? Luffy said with a wry smile. That's 8. Hi everyone, I'm Rockstar. I've been a newcomer at Red Hair Pirates with an internship period of 2.5 years. I'm still working hard to become an officer. I'm good at. Rockstar said to the news bird that was filming. This guy. Beckman shook his head in annoyance, pushed Rockstar aside, and said to the news bird, the following content is not suitable for children, so don't record it. The newsbird nodded sensibly and left with the camera. Den Mushi. Get rid of him, just like the Buggy Pirates did. Beckman stepped aside and lit a cigarette. By the time he finished smoking his cigarette, Captain Luffy of the Blackbeard Pirates ship number 5 had already disappeared from this world. Usopp did not join the siege, but just stared into the distance. What's wrong? Beckman asked. My son is here. Usopp's expression was a little complicated. I haven't seen him for many years. How should I greet him? Must kill pop green fireworks. As soon as Thousand Sunny came ashore, Usopp fired a projectile into the sky. The ammunition exploded in the air, as brilliant as fireworks. Wow, this is so cool. Luffy and Chopper's eyes lit up. Hee, this is to say hello to them. The new 4 Emperors group, the Straw Hat Pirates, have joined the battlefield. Usopp looked proud. His mission was basically accomplished, and the next step was to see if there was a chance to fire a few rounds at Blackbeard from a distance. Get out of the way, don't waste time. Kid said impatiently, it's already late. If we delay any longer, we will only be able to attend Blackbeard's funeral. No, I can feel that there is still a fierce battle over there. Luffy looked in one direction. There were loud roars from time to time, and black and red lightning appeared from time to time. Let's go over there. Blackbeard should be there. Luffy excitedly fist bumped, and his hair and clothes turned white. His hair turned into burning white flames, and white steam streamers surrounded his neck and armpits. It's too reckless to start in 5th gear. Luo said helplessly, wait, what are you going to do? He discovered that Luffy had turned the ground into rubber. Of course we have to get to the battlefield as soon as possible. Luffy stretched out his arms, grab my arm and let's fly to the battlefield. Actually, we can just walk over there slowly. Usopp felt something was not good. He didn't want to go directly to the main battlefield. Stop talking nonsense. Luffy rolled him up directly, and after everyone grabbed his arms, he took a deep breath, jumped up, and stomped on the ground with all his strength. The ground turned into super rubber and sank deeply, then suddenly rebounded. Rubber spring bed, take off. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.